All right. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. If you ever want to talk about anything else, you can always just reach out and let me know. Okay.
All right. Here we go. It's about to get
Get him, Drew.
a little spicy. Little spicy. All right.
Bubolinsky. No, it's not Tony Bubolinsky. It's Tony Bobolinsky. Where's my fucking chat? That's
Okay.
fucking
Close out the music.
go.
I'm gonna have to. So I'm not gonna close chat yet. If people start joining and talking shit, I'm gonna have to close it. I can't focus on it. All right. Okay, let's keep my DMs open because I assume I'm gonna get a message here in a second. All right.
Press the
I'm gonna go to the
K
bathroom
key
one
for
last time
accessibility
before we do
options.
this. Get ready. This is gonna be it's gonna be a little crazy, boys. We'll see what happens. All right.
Chill. You got this. Where is he? And you got this. Let's warm up with closed door.
Volume about 2 decibels. Yeah. I mean, I could turn the volume a little bit. Let's see. All right. Advanced audio. All right. I'll turn it up. There. That's up 2 decibels. Is that good? Insert. Not yet, but soon, yeah. I don't know why my hands are so cold, bro. I'm freezing my ass off over here. Maybe I'm just nervous. Maybe. I don't know. It's sort of a similar feeling to when I used to go wrestling. Is it stress? Yeah, maybe it is. When I used to wrestle. Well, yeah. See, the thing is, as soon as we start going, we're fine. It's just like the nerves of
Wrestle, wrestle.
It kind of gets nervous. And part of the reason I planned out the intro so much is because I knew it. Yeah, no, wrestling. Going to the salon. Okay. Okay, about to start. See you. Yeah, no, the anticipation's fine. I'm trying to set up the conversation to be productive, and if it's not combative, it's not gonna really make me nervous. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Talk about anything for the fight. Nonsense, just to warm up. Maybe so. Maybe that's a good idea. just to kind of do that.
I mean, I'm
I
providing
also just have
content
so
here.
many thoughts
I have to be.
leading up to this. Like,
Oh shit!
the clips
There's
that came
people
out last
joining
night
joining
about,
his
like,
chat. I better shut
his
up
friend
in
is
the
like a
chat.
psychology minor, like kind of like trying to say stuff about Anna.
Training AI. I'll play a couple with versus AI, and then we'll go to actual
I'm just waiting for invites.
people.
At this point, I've got both this and this.
And this, and this, and that.
Man, this is really weird. A really weird situation. Like, when I'm like role playing or practicing counseling with my classmates, I don't get nervous. Like, it's like very much in my wheelhouse. Like, I know what to expect and stuff like this. But this is very much like not that. So, yeah, because it's like with counseling, like even so, like with like even like couples counseling, that's a very different situation. It's not counseling at all. Like, I am kind of coming in to defend my friend thing. It's not even like really, and then like maybe like hopefully we can come sort of to some sort of friendly resolution. It's not really like that. And certainly it's weird in front of an audience. Right?
Yeah. Oh.
You didn't miss anything. We're about to start.
Bombers, bombers, bombers. I'll play support.
You didn't miss it. It's about to happen, Plant.
No. I was supposed to practice the fighters. Forget about this.
Do we need to listen to a pump-up song? Do we need to listen
Sure.
to a pump-up song?
Listen to
I'm
a song.
thinking we might need to listen to a pump-up song. Oh yeah. And what better song? What better song, boys?
I'll give him a song. Give me a sec.
No, not yet. We're about to.
Want to stand out online?
Alright, y'all ready?
Father of lies, come in disguise. Your cum won't last. There's a snake in my ass. The cum father's secret stash. Come stomp me flat. I'm going to fuck your dad. Coming high into the morning sky. Vape come from my bum till I die. Arthur with a cock in my ass. Riding hard, eating ass master class. Sacred cum blade, fuckling crusade. Fatal cum theft, give me cum or give me death.
I need to get some more tea. Be right back.
Bleh. I think this monster is diluting my teeth. Gotta stop drinking it. It's pretty good though. It's like a grape drank monster. Let's go.
This is Vanguard 2, standing by.
Vanguard 4 ready for battle.
Rest easy, Squadron. Vanguard 1 is here. Vanguard 3 standing
Charging my lasers.
Vanguard 5 standing by.
Charging my engines.
Enemy fighters closing in.
Press the E key twice.
Vanguard.
Press the E key
Oh shit,
twice.
they're already here.
May the force be with us.
Calm before the storm, huh?
Let's make this count.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Vanguard 2, you're doing great. Press the advantage. We want the enemy on the defensive.
Oh shit, fuck you.
Imperial Raider, destroy. Corvette is on the way. Let's focus fire on those cruisers.
Oh shit. I should probably fucking heal up before I crash. Oh my god.
Looks like drinks are on you, huh?
Good stuff.
They're locking onto me.
Okay.
There's a missile on me.
Imperial cruiser is on its last leg.
Oh no, that was supposed to be mine.
Cruiser destroyed.
Okay, I'm gonna get some
Enemy's got a lock on me.
Jesus, it's so the fighter ships are so sensitive. Where's my fucking debate?
Empire just lost their last cruiser. Great work, Vanguard. Hitting their power system. Destroy their power system. Look for weak points in the hull and attack.
Where's my debate? Oh shit.
Corvette is down.
Joe dude is running for
Jesus, it's so amazing that Destiny, even just talking about this, about like a stupid, non-political, just having any disagreement with Destiny, and the guy used to wrestle and he's stressed the fuck out. What the hell?
They're locking onto me? Never doubted myself for a second.
Yeah, I think I'm happy that I'm I know Destiny and I do like Destiny. Or I don't like Destiny. I know a lot of
They're gunning for me.
That's your last word.
Oh, you're clear,
Can't wait for
Vanguard 1.
Joe Biden to be president. I'm excited.
Missile inbound. Disabled.
Shit. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead.
Press the E key twice for options.
Advanced trolley memes, or what is it?
We disabled their shields. Vanguard, defend our frigates.
Got it. Oh, Victor, I don't know if you know this, but the conversation is also sort of morphed into wanting to resolve this, or something. So, it's like, it's hard because it's hard to know what the right thing is. Because I can lay out a pretty citizen argument, like, but also, I don't think it's anything.
Oh shit. I totally didn't watch my health there.
That raider's scrapped. Move to engage the enemy fleet.
Press
want,
spacebar for accessibility
the,
options.
The audio louder? Is that what you're asking?
Heads up, Vanguard. I'm on the way.
Are you saying that you need audio louder, buddy? Okay. How's this?
Enemy shields
Is this
disabled.
better? Or do you need it
Star
louder?
Destroyer.
Okay, cool. Turn it up a couple more decibels. We're up to 10 viewers. Oh snap. It's a new record, boys. We're doing it. Apparently, wait.
They locked onto me.
You can do more damage by attacking something else.
Oh my god. So many deaths just in the last few moments. Boom.
No.
We didn't manage to shoot the other rocket.
Victor!
Corvette lost.
Engine's hot. I'm on the way.
It's not good.
Star Destroyer shields back online.
Oh, I was doing so well.
Star Destroyer shields are disabled.
Had him on stream a few times. I'm excited.
That section's done for. Move on.
Oh my god.
We lost too many. Defensive formation.
Press the E E key twice for options.
Okay, so wait, sorry. Shall I like where's the
I think I might actually want to get the Destiny audio on this because
Alright, here we go, buddy. Let's do it.
unless
We are getting ready. About to get the call. Y'all can hear my desktop audio, right? Y'all can hear Destiny as he was talking. Make sure that, y'all can hear the conversation. Sweet. We're about to get the call.
oh shit, drifting didn't work. Oh my god.
Did you y'all can hear that audio a second ago, right? Let me know if you can't hear it when the call starts.
I wanted to get him before he gets back to the ship, but no, I have
Yeah.
to get the repair.
That's the hope, right? We're gonna see what happens.
And I actually,
Alright.
because we're defending, I actually have to go all the way back to my main
I can
ship.
hear you loud and clear.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa, I'm sorry, one second, I need to turn down your audio. You're like blowing my eardrums out. Okay. Holy moly, can you say something again?
1, 2, testing.
Okay, perfect.
No, this is too
Alright.
quiet.
Alright, so how's it going, Destiny?
Doing great. How's it going?
Going good. How are you, Anna?
God damn it. Where do we go? Where do we go? Is that YouTube? YouTube. Let's do YouTube. That.
I think we have some fundamental disagreements over Anna's cognitive impairment, or distortions, or
Wow.
emotional dysregulation.
Wow.
I guess is what we're.
Wow, wow. Okay. Well, I did tell you that he thinks I'm insane, so
I
did tell you, Drew.
legitimately believe that.
Wait,
she,
wait, wait, wait.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's chill out. All right.
I'm super chill right now, just being straightforward.
No. Okay. First of all, I want to say I appreciate you not bringing Dan in here. Okay.
Yeah.
And if I talk about Dan, like, I'm perfectly willing to talk to him later, because I don't think it's fair to talk about someone if you're not willing to talk to him. But I just don't think it's
Dan is
conducive to, like,
literally only here for the memes and the drama, so that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just.
The Schadenfreude.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, okay. So maybe there's a bit of a miscommunication about what this is about. My impression of this conversation is essentially that Anna feels like she was mistreated in the previous conversation that y'all had, and I guess you didn't believe that there was somebody who could get that impression from the previous conversation.
I mean, depending on your understanding of the background and everything going into it, I mean, you could probably get that impression, I guess, if you had, because I guess literally from the outside, if you have no understanding of any of the context, it just seems like two guys bullying a girl on a stream for a couple hours. But
Yeah, I mean, like, do you think so? Like, I have a bunch of notes here, and I have like a sort of like a preamble that I may need to give before we start. But like, do you think that just because like do you think that there's context that justifies two guys bullying somebody on stream in front of like 5K viewers?
yeah, that person consented to the conversation.
You think that consent means that it's okay
Wow.
for you to bully?
I think that at, I guess I won't look specific. I think that at the age of all the members involved, and with the understanding that all the parties involved have of how the platform works, and with how public everything relating to this particular excursion, I guess, is, I think that you have the ability, unless we're going to make some severe like concessions to what her like level of autonomy is, like you should have the ability to consent to that conversation. You should have the ability to understand the ramifications of it, to understand what it's going to be like as it's happening, and to withdraw from it if you feel like it's too much at any point in time. Yes, I fully believe that.
executive
Okay. So
I mean, he should know this.
Okay, there's a couple things there, but
Yeah.
I guess my point is that, like, it's not that I don't think that she can consent. It's just that I do think that I guess it sort of depends on what the entire point of the conversation was. I guess, like,
No, it doesn't depend on it.
I guess
It's
before we
just
get
what-
like into the
depends on what
nitty-gritty of
consent
stuff,
is,
it just seems like
Destiny has used
was the
consent
goal
to
of
mean,
that previous conversation to try to
mean,
figure out where things were, try to settle
you can-
things at all?
You can be given
The
a
goal. So
retract
yeah. So the
at
goal
any point.
is.
Can I just
So,
can I
and
just
you
can I just
consent to
say
one thing
that
and not
also,
the other.
like,
He's
Steven, you wouldn't
explained
really
this
talk to me
multiple times
about
for sex, and somehow
remember.
for
So,
That doesn't
so
change
I,
anything, but sure. Okay. So I think that the goal was
You can
different on
agree to
both sides. So the goal for me is
conversation, so you
twofold.
immediately agree
So
to
one, it's
everything that
interesting
happens
to me,
with
like these types of
bullying.
conversations are
Yeah.
interesting to me. And then the second was I was curious if Anna is capable of actually confronting any of what I perceive to be severe cognitive delusions or distortions about everything that's happened. And then I imagine that on her end, the goal is probably, I think, to repair the friendship or to make me acknowledge that I've committed some harms or wrongs that I need to take responsibility for.
Okay, so your goal was not to try to fix things, it was just to see if she's capable of recognizing your perception of her as having cognitive distortions or something?
Yeah, basically. I don't think that, I think that the way that the both of us view reality is so fundamentally misaligned that there's no healthy potential relationship that can take place past her recognizing that. And it doesn't seem like that's possible based on the multitude of conversations we've had up to this point, so.
Okay, alright, yeah, so maybe I should just introduce myself and actually we'll figure out exactly what we should be talking about and stuff, but before we get into things, because, I know that there was, like, I saw some clips from last night and it just, like, seemed like there was a little bit of confusion about what was actually going to go on, who I am. It doesn't appear that anybody actually knows who I am or anything like that, so, I guess I'll just introduce myself and try to figure out what exactly the goal of this conversation is so that we can all be on the same page before we do anything else. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so my name's Drew. I'm working on my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I minored in philosophy. And one caveat that I want to make before anything else, I've talked to Hannah about this prior to the conversation, but it seems fair to me that trying to avoid morally loaded language like toxic, abuse, manipulation, or any like sort of clinical or subclinical term seems like a fair boundary to set for the conversation if we want it to be productive. Do you think that makes sense?
It's going to be incredibly difficult when both of us are levying accusations at each other of being manipulative or abusive. So I'm not sure how that's going to work.
But
I agreed to that boundary for this relation. I mean,
Yeah.
for this conversation. Sorry.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that you can't think to yourself that something is particularly toxic or something like that, but I think so like for example, like if you say something along the lines of like, Anna, I think you were super manipulative and abusive when you did this, there's a 0% chance that anyone can ever concede that point because you've accused them of being abusive. I think it makes sense to say, I think you messed up here, or I think you did something wrong. That's easier to admit fault to than you're abusive, toxic, and manipulative. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, in a one-on-one
God,
conversation,
that
I would agree with
took
that. But as
so
a third-party
long. I had
arbiter, you
all
should be
my
able to parse
shields
that
in the
language
front,
and
too.
come to some sort of
What
conclusion
the
about what's happening descriptively, I would imagine. So, for instance, if I say, I feel like Anna is manipulative when she does this behavior, I think you should be able to analyze that without feeling emotionally invested or loaded into that, I guess,
Oh,
descriptive,
so
right?
to be
No,
clear,
did take a hit.
I am not super emotionally invested. I'm just saying like all three of us are here, so it doesn't seem like y'all throwing like. So I'm not saying like, so like if you tell me, so when this happened, when we were talking, it seemed kind of manipulative or something. That's kind of different than like accusing her of be like, Anna, you're being really manipulative and toxic right now. I really like. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a
Yeah, I
distinction
mean, like,
between, like,
I just don't want to get accused of like betraying anything that I agree to. Like, my fundamental concern is that I believe that she is an incredibly abusive and manipulative person. So I don't know how the conversation can proceed without me. I guess I can just try to point out behaviors and then you can label those, and I'll try to avoid using the words
Literally where?
abusive and manipulative. I'll make my best effort to do so, but I feel like at some point I'm going to be talking around like a word I'm trying to say. But I guess you could guide the conversation if you want. Yeah. I agree that it's not productive to sit here and be like, you're abusive, you're manipulative, like over and over and over again. I agree with that, of course.
That's all. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to establish. I have a couple extra things I want to say before we get like into the nitty gritty, and then we can kind of decide what the goal of the conversation is before we go anywhere else. Because frankly, I don't know exactly what specifically we're going to be talking about.
Sure.
So, I want to state openly that like I'm not a purely objective person in this conversation, obviously. I've only been friends with Anna for about 2 weeks, but I've also been a fan of yours for about a year and a half. So it's like I have biases on both ends here, and I'm pretty interested in like listening to both your points of view. But I just feel like the previous conversation was pretty unfair to her, if I'm being honest. Yeah, and I have sort of a brief summary of each of your points of view based on the previous conversation. And I think it might be productive if I would be able to kind of give you each what I think the summary of your concerns are prior to starting, so that you know that I'm capable of understanding your perspective. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so in terms of your concerns, I'm saying this as the first person as if I was you. So just for the sake of clarification. So you would say, I feel that Anna's messaged me way too much when I am not responding, and I don't think it's reasonable to expect me to respond to this many messages. I also feel that Anna tries to judge my personal relationships that don't involve her while hiding behind the authority of articles or papers that I don't feel accurately describe my life. I also feel that she uses her feelings and or discussions of boundaries as a shield to justify this behavior. Additionally, I feel that I've been patient, and I feel that most other people would react negatively to behavior because it comes across to me as judgmental and dismissive. Is that fair characterization of your position?
Yeah, I think that's more than fair.
Okay. For Anna, and by the way, if y'all want to add anything to these, feel free to do that as well. All right. So, in terms of your position, Anna, I think that I'll just say it the same way I said. I feel that I've been treated unfairly. I feel this because in the past I felt I had an obligation to call out behavior to my friends that I believe is harmful. I also believe that it wouldn't be fair to simply say I don't like a friend's behavior, but rather that I should back it up with my concerns with evidence that I'm familiar with. Despite feeling this obligation, I feel that Stephen insisted on creating boundaries that conflicted with my sense of duty to both others and Stephen, who I felt would understand why I'm calling him out if I showed him evidence of what I was concerned about. I now understand that my expression of that concern was done in a way that crosses boundaries, and I regret that. Additionally, I feel I've been consistently mischaracterized and been made out to be a crazy person that isn't qualified either implicitly or explicitly by both Stephen and his friends. I feel that throughout our friendship, my feelings and points of view have been dismissed, and that no matter how upset I get, Stephen will never try to understand or empathize with my pain. Does that make sense? Is that broadly your position, Anna?
Not sort of, but also
okay, yeah,
there's
explain
a whole lot more though.
Okay, is there anything specific you need to add to it so that a brief summary makes sense? I want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Because I felt like there were double standards, like I was expected to respect his boundaries, but then he completely dismissed and ignored my boundaries that I asked for, and I felt like it was a double standard.
Okay.
And then also, I felt like super, I guess, well, I don't want to use that word. Yeah,
I appreciate you cutting yourself off there, by the way.
Yeah, I felt like my feelings were literally well, I just feel like I was treated like complete trash and garbage, and it was really painful. It's still pretty painful, just completely dismissed, and my feelings dismissed, and my privacy boundaries completely trampled over.
Okay. All right. I hear all that. It sounds like you're pretty concerned with the way you were treated, the double standards that you perceive.
Oh my god, don't try to pretend like you're...
concerns, which I think is fair from your perspective. Do you want to try to figure out and negotiate what the goal of this conversation is before we move forward? Because I feel like in order for this to be productive, it doesn't make sense to just kind of go back and forth accusing each other of stuff and yelling and my goal here is to try to make this as productive as possible and have people leaving there was progress made, or the situation's better than it was, and I'm not really interested in just screaming at each other for the sake of drama or whatever.
Yeah, sure. I can start.
Okay.
So my goal would be for her to understand that her behavior was unimaginably out of line, that the way that she treats and talks to other people comes off as incredibly judgmental and loaded, and that she is misappropriating a lot of concepts in psychology, that she will take something that is supposed to be something that is protective or conductive to a conversation, and she will use it to be offensive or aggressive in a conversation.
This is the problem with psychology.
So for instance, saying that I have a certain boundary, and my boundaries that you
manipulate
have to
people.
tell me this thing. Like
So,
using boundaries
especially,
that are
like-
supposed to like make you feel comfortable in order to attack
Especially,
another person's boundaries, basically. So that would be,
like,
if it's
okay.
all possible, that would be my goal, I guess, is to make her understand.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna let you respond, Anna.
Or just
I
children, really,
um,
with really
I
powerful
want to make sure that I'm
feelings.
understanding what he
This is
said first, and
exactly why
then
some
you'll
of the
give me sort of
language-
your perspective. so
He's
we can-
referring to the
like,
stonewalling
supposedly
thing.
scientific, it's just
Okay, yeah, I've watched the conversation. Like, I know what happened. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what his goals are before we move on to yours, so we can. Okay.
Language that's supposed to
So
be
it sounds like
scientific
your
is,
goals specifically
lost in
are
people
you want
and
to
in the wrong
you
hands,
want
it's
her to
completely
understand the
lost
ways in
and
which you
loses
feel
its
like you were
meaning.
mistreated in this relationship, not
Someone
like
wants to talk
just
to you about,
like it seems like there are things
you're wrong
that
because you have implicit
she
bias.
did that you felt were
Okay.
particularly
How about
unfair
you?
or hurtful
Well,
or
you're
whatever, or would
implicit
be
bias.
perceived by hurtful to other people, and you want her to sort of understand the extent to which
Yeah, sure.
that happened. Is that
Implicit
fair?
bias
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
but
Okay. All right. And what are your goals, Anna? So we can kind of all be on the same page.
It's not.
Well,
it doesn't exist.
basically,
just target
I kind of
people in a,
like I've
that,
always just wanted understanding
who
and like
claim they
Uh-huh.
are
just
wrong because they
empathy,
have it.
just
That's not why
empathy.
it exists.
Yeah.
That's really all I wanted.
And
So,
not
like
why the
just
science
empathy and understanding of like because it's incredibly dismissive to be told that like I'm delusional and stuff and
Oh shit.
like yeah, because
Yeah.
it kind of shows like a lack of empathy and understanding of my perspective and stuff. And so I just would like literally empathy is literally all I've been asking for.
Okay. So it sounds like the goals are almost similar, where like both of you feel like there's like sort of a lack of understanding and going in both directions, while Destiny feels like you don't understand the ways in which what you did were hurtful, and you sort of feel misunderstood because it seems like because he's not understanding you.
Well, I guess
it's fine.
I also feel like there's this extreme sense of refusal to like I feel like everything I say gets twisted around into like a negative and stuff, or like trying
Yeah.
to like
that
basically
these people are
read
not
between the
supposed to
lines
be-
of what I'm saying and like trying to like
Oh.
catch me in some sort of like gotcha thing, and like
Okay.
that's an extremely
not
stressful
supposed to
thing to
be-
deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like it, yeah, and also I feel like also hold on, sorry, I just had the thought and now I lost it. Fuck, damn it.
You're okay.
and they're not supposed to
Can I
have
say something really
literally
quick? I think I totally
language,
forgot to say this. I
flowery,
need to say it right now. Is that
beautiful,
okay?
and everything, but
Yeah. Okay.
like
I need to
like
issue a
shit.
disclaimer. I am in grad school, right, for this. This is not therapy. This isn't counseling or anything. This is like me coming on to try to sort something out with a friend. This is not that. So just to be, I know that y'all know
Oh,
that,
come
but I just
on.
want to be clear to the audience that that's not what this is. Okay.
Y'all.
Yeah. And we're clear about that, Destiny. This is just like us trying to sort this out, right? This
so
isn't
much
just
to take
therapy,
it out.
right?
Wait, why did I fill out the HIPAA form and everything earlier? I don't know.
No. We're not doing this.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Okay.
This is
Okay, okay.
mediation, conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So what were you saying, Anna?
Oh yeah. Also, just kind of I guess I also kind of feel. Oh yeah. I also feel really hurt that there's this like sense of like complete like refusal to forgive sort of and trust basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have
He's gonna.
said on multiple
Destiny's
occasions
just
like I've
biding his time
apologized
right
a
now.
lot.
They're
like,
talking.
a
They're not
lot,
letting
and
him
like I
talk.
genuinely
He's gonna
mean it, of course, and it just
fucking grill them
yeah, it feels
for
like that's not like believed
ruthlessly.
essentially, and that's hurtful.
Okay. So you feel like sometimes you get trapped when you're trying to have the conversations into like a gotcha when you're trying to do
Yeah.
the thing, and then you
Yeah.
also feel like when you apologize, it's not heard or received or something like that. Is that right?
Or like it's not believed, or also when
Okay.
it's
Oh my
believed,
God.
then it's like it's thrown in my face again
Brought back
and
later.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's
okay.
already been like forgiven.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know. Okay.
At least he doesn't
so
get to get.
it sounds
to get,
like we
have
both,
shields.
everybody, like both
But
of
the
y'all,
course.
basically
Still
want
up.
understanding from the other person. Okay. So. What I would say is I went through the whole conversation, right? And I'm specifically talking about the conversation that was between Steven, Anna, Dan was there, and then I think there was another friend. What was that guy's name?
I don't even know, Mr. Mooten or
Is it
Linus?
Linus?
Oh, Linus,
or,
yeah.
It was Linus, yeah. Okay, so I felt like number one, I thought Linus was actually pretty productive in that conversation. He seemed like most of the time he was trying to aid in like understanding. Obviously Dan was just kind of a bully the whole time. And then I think there was like a lot of frustration and miscommunication going on between the two of y'all, for sure. I would note that when I went through the conversation, I was trying to go through the conversation. I went through it like literally line by line, and I found a total of 9 times where Anna tried to take responsibility for messing up. And so what I would say about that is it seems like there's some sort of understanding gap between you saying that you messed up and him not feeling that you recognized what you did. So it seems like you took responsibility for a lot, but still he doesn't feel that you understand how messed up what you did was, so the apology maybe doesn't come across.
Yeah, it's never good enough. It's never enough.
Can I explain why?
Enough.
Can I explain why that's the case?
I'm inviting you to explain.
Yeah, so there's 2 big reasons why her apologies are hollow to me. The first is that she will apologize for something, but then it seems like she'll be attacking me for it shortly thereafter, like in the next set of 20 messages she sends me. And then it seems like when she apologizes for something, it's one of those like, oh, like, I don't normally do.
More warm up. Fucking
Wait.
We can count
Yeah.
you have
It's
over and over and over again. But regardless,
big chungus.
regardless, and another thing she'll do is like will kind of apologize, but then she'll give reasons for why she did what she did, which feel like justifications to me, and I know in her head are justifications. So for
Okay.
instance,
Wait.
can you please
I
stay
know.
there?
Anna, I promise you, we will give. Like, we have a long time. I'm not going to shut you down. You're going to get to speak your side, but
Okay.
yeah, we have to let him speak too, right?
Yeah, so for instance, it would be like similar to like a husband saying like, I'm really sorry for beating you up last night, but you know that I was drunk and you were nagging me. Like those are the kinds of apologies that I feel like I get from her. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, so it seems like...
Also, real quick, just to be clear, I'm sorry, because I don't want to just like say something, I'm making something up. So I believe like from October 5th to like the 8th, I think it was about 70 messages from her before I responded. I think it was around 70. Like, I'm not just making these numbers up out of nowhere. We can go back and count if she really wants to. But these were, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Wasn't that literally because you like outed everything? Wasn't that like? Remember, I told you that, Steven? I was like, yeah, I know that on that day, yeah, because I panicked and I was in full-blown panic mode.
Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. So she'll say first, I didn't do a wrong thing, and then when I point out, well, hey, you did, she'll say, okay, sure, I did, but it was for this reason. This is why all the apologies and everything kind of like feel. Well, because initially you said that you didn't send me 20 messages in a row, but now you're saying, well, I did, but it was your fault. This is why I did it. So like this is like
that's not what I just said.
That's exactly what just happened.
No, it isn't. It really isn't.
Wait. Okay, we need to slow down. If we go back and forth like this, like we can do that. Like what just happened, we can do that for 3 hours, and this will have been nothing.
Sure. Wait. So Drew, can I just ask you like 3 questions real quick?
You can ask me 3 questions.
Did she initially say that she hadn't sent me 20 messages in a row? She did say that initially, right?
In the conversation?
Yeah. Right now, she did say that, right?
Okay, but I forgot about that one.
Let Drew talk. Drew, go ahead.
I honestly, I think you were talking when she objected to the numbers, so I don't remember what specifically said. I'm sorry.
We can go back and get a clip, I guess, because it's kind of because we're both accusing each other of having a misunderstanding of reality. So hearing reality is really important for this conversation. I'll stake my reputation on it. She did say that she had not sent me that many messages. She said to stop mischaracterizing it. And then after she claimed that, I explained that she had, and then she went on to justify why she had. This is like a pattern of behavior.
Why? It's not justifying.
Please, it is justifying. Please let me explain.
No, it's...
You said that you had sent me messages, and then you gave a reason why. It was because you outed something. You justified why you had done a behavior that you had just denied you'd ever done. This is a pattern of behavior that you engage in.
Wait. So something has to be sorted out. Okay.
Yeah. We should agree on this before we move further. I think it's really important to understand like reality because I think that she can engage with it. Yeah.
I understand that when the context of like conflicts like this, like figuring out what exactly happened is sort of a contentious issue. Okay. What I would say is that which you view as justifications, I can understand why. So like, so if you say you did this thing, it upset me, and they say, yeah, but I did it for this reason, that can come across as defensive or justifying or something like that. Okay. But I also think that like, so like if she were to give you a response more like this, how would you respond to this? So she said like something like, yeah, that was kind of overboard. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry if I overwhelmed you. I get kind of some type of way when I feel like I'm being ignored or something like that. And then it switches to her turn to give her perspective, and then she talked about why should that happen. Would you view that as justification, or would you view that as her giving her point of view about what was going on internally with her?
No, I think I would view that quite differently. Again, to be clear
Okay.
though, not if it starts on the level of this behavior didn't happen, and then after I say, well, look, it did, then you go, oh, okay, well, I get that way. The refusal to acknowledge the reality of what has happened makes it very hard for me to believe that you're genuinely like remorseful or regretful for the behavior. That like I can't accept, because
Okay.
how could you possibly have genuine regret or contrition or whatever if you don't even acknowledge that the behavior actually happened until I confront you with it? That's my problem there, right?
I have acknowledged it.
Do you,
I
okay,
told
wait,
you this millions of times.
Okay. What? Okay, Anna. All right. Rather than yelling and screaming, so Anna, what specifically do you think happened, Anna? And what specifically are you taking responsibility for?
I mean,
Be super
he
clear.
committed an extremely horrible act against me that felt literally like similar to like a form of revenge porn, basically. I mean, he doesn't understand how severe it is what he did.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing is that
Completely
What
violated
I'm
my
hearing
privacy.
is exactly what you said.
yeah. Okay. I hear that. I understand that that's incredibly painful, and I think that it's fair to want to feel like that matters to him, that he affected you that way. I think
And
right now,
with zero remorse.
yeah. So I totally hear that. I understand that perspective. What I'm saying is, it sounds like Steven right now is trying to say like essentially like so when I watch this conversation, it sounds like you would say like, I'm sorry I messed up over and over again, but it sounds like to him it doesn't come across genuine to him, because he feels like you're not agreeing about what exactly happened. So like, yeah, so could you talk about like what specifically did you do that you felt was wrong, what happened, and not really like talking about like why it happened, but like what specific things are you talking about taking responsibility for? Because I think that's like a big part of, yeah, because I don't think that we can move past this when he feels like you're not actually apologizing because you don't understand what happened or whatever. Is that fair?
Yeah, okay. I guess
okay.
if someone like see, it's just so weird because I don't understand the concept of like being upset about someone literally like panicking because like their private life was like literally like blasted in the public. I feel like he should have understood why I was in panic mode. Like,
Okay.
I just,
Yeah. So right now, what I'm hearing is, I wish he understood why that happened.
yeah.
But I'm not getting what like that is. Like what happened.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you see
guess
what I'm
I
saying?
sent a bunch of messages on that day that he like basically like outed like
Has
every
long
like our
block.
my fucking private life basically.
Yeah.
High
yeah.
damage, close range.
So you do you think that
Okay,
like
this is
it's possible
good for,
that like
like,
it
a
was
chicken fight.
overwhelming to send him as many messages as you did, even if like you feel
Come
like
on.
there was a reason for it, like holy shit,
mean-
like all my stuff was thrown out into public and I feel totally violated and all these things. Do you understand how that could come across as overwhelming?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. So
But it would be nice if he could understand.
so what you're asking for is, if I can extend this olive branch of, I understand how that's overwhelming and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you would like the olive branch to be extended back to understand that like I was hurt, this is seriously upset me, it violated serious boundaries, so you want your perspective to be respected as
It's
well.
not like I was being aggressive. Like I was literally sending messages like, Steven, what's going on? Why is this happening? Why are you doing this? Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. I'm panicking. Please talk to
Yeah.
me. Like it was
Yeah.
literally like that's
You feel like, yeah,
that's a
yeah.
victim perspective. I'm just oh my.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you does her saying that do anything for you, or do you think that she's not specifically
No,
talking
I
about
don't want
what
the
you're
proton
talking about?
torpedo.
This?
I want the onslaught
I-
rocket.
So
Jesus.
it's gonna be really hard without using the M word or the A word.
Oh,
I don't
Okay.
know sometimes when she expresses certain feelings. I don't know if those are true feelings or if those are things that she's saying because she thinks she can get a certain reaction by saying them. So here's two things that I really don't understand, okay? So here is
Okay.
a boundary of mine that was violated that I didn't actually know until, I think, weeks later. One time, so we were in Pennsylvania. I think it was Pennsylvania. We were in a hotel, and I told her that it was probably better for all parties involved to maintain privacy.
Okay, wait. Can we not talk about this because this is already like violate? Like, no, not on stream. I'm not talking about this because
So-
this has to do with like
Nope,
private.
this is something that you
things.
did publicly, okay? I said
What
that
do
it
you
was
mean
probably
publicly?
better. I said it was probably better that if you want to go on stream or whatever, that like we're not together, obviously, because people are going to talk and it's going to cause a lot of stuff to happen, blah, 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 blah. I didn't know this, but she snuck her phone into the hotel room and she was literally streaming in the room while I was streaming in the background. And she did that without ever telling me. So it seems really strange to me to hear her say now, oh my gosh, like I didn't want any of this to be public when she literally like did that stream in secrecy when I had no idea. And then also later on in a stream, when somebody asked if we had had any type of sexual contact,
Drew
Are you
she like,
stream and
serious?
Can I
watching his
please finish?
notes.
She
You
like
gotta
she
let
gave
him
like
talk.
yeah she gave
I
like
can't hear the
a
truth there.
yeah she gave like a very like laughter response and was like, oh no
And
don't
he's
ask me
watching
that
his
again.
chat,
So it seemed like when she
so Destiny's
believed, I don't know
gonna
that
be
like if
watching
our
Drew's chat.
relationship,
Drew
I'm using
can't-
relationship
is
as like
saying
friends or
he
whatever.
can't
If she
even
believed that our
read
relationship
his
was on like
own
a
chat.
positive like trajectory,
And
she
I
didn't
should
really
shut
mind
up.
being as
I
open
should
about
not
these things.
type
But now that she feels like the
anything in
relationship has
this chat.
deteriorated, now she wants to retroactively say, no, I didn't want any of this to be out there. I didn't want any of that. But it feels hard to believe that given her past behavior,
And he's
especially
gonna
behavior
go
she
back
gave her.
Okay.
into
Yeah.
his older
Okay.
streams
Okay,
and
so
watch,
what I would say
watch
about that-
that shit, or
I'm
someone
gonna
does it.
let you. I'm gonna let you talk in just a second, Anna. Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk. All right. So, do you think that it's possible that
come
so
so
like
close.
you're interpreting her actions?
being exposed to
you're
this
seeing
guy's fucking
you're seeing her
nasty,
actions from your
toxic
point of view,
audience
and
over
there's like
some
an assumption
dumb
being made that she
fucking
must have seen
sim
them the same way that you see them.
Must have seen what?
So like you say like, okay, well she did this thing, so it seems like she doesn't care because it seems to me like, oh well, if she cared about privacy, then she wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
doing
the
this thing,
set of
and I think-
behaviors that she would have enacted would have been far different.
Yeah,
assuming
yeah.
she's
So
like
what I'm
mentally
saying is
competent.
that
Yeah.
so what I'm saying it's like it seems like it's possible that what's happening is you're interpreting her actions in a way that she does not perceive them, and you're sort of applying the way you interpret them to the way that she is not interpreting. Like you're assuming that she's interpreting her actions the same way you are.
Yeah, again, that's possible. I'm assuming some base level of mental competency, but like I don't believe that it's possible that somebody could stream in somebody's hotel room, like laying in a bed with me in the background, where it's clear that we're in the same room, and not know that like it's heavily implied that we're having like some sort of like sexual relationship. Like that seems impossible for me to conceive. It's possible that that's the case, but man, dude, if we're on that many levels of like removal from basic human like verbal exchange, I really don't know.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Sure,
I do.
with guys who were friends. That's a fun thing. Holy shit! Why?
I didn't
Okay.
understand a
Not
word she
assume
said.
that men and women can't be friends. What the hell?
Okay, so,
So that's
you
where
think
I'm
it's
at, yeah.
unfair. So you think it's unfair to jump to that conclusion, Anna?
It's wild. It sounds like the exact logic that like you hear from people who are like, well, I mean, if she didn't want it, why did she wear that short skirt? Why did she
Right.
flirt with me? That's literally what that sounds like.
It does.
I just have to point out that
So
that's like totally. I'm not like claiming anybody deserved anything or saying like anything like that. I don't-
Really?
Okay.
Because you're saying that like you don't believe, you don't trust me, you don't trust my words. This is a problem.
What I'm
Yeah,
saying is
so-
that, just to be clear, what I'm saying is that I believe that if you understand anything about like basic human interaction, that if somebody were to do a stream privately in somebody's hotel room, sitting on their bed while the other person's in the background, most people are going to assume, whether it's right or not, that there's some sort of sexual relationship. So it seems strange to me to take issue so much with any of that becoming public when it seems like you're almost outing yourself. That's how it feels to me.
I get 11 views at a time.
Right.
11 views. I'm a nobody.
Do you think it's possible that any of those 11 people might have interpreted our relationship as being sexual on that stream?
I
Whatever.
don't think so because I knew the people.
Do you think it's possible that there might have been one of my fans in that stream chat? Do you think that it's possible that anybody might have
That's-
clipped something or made it
Oh
known
my
otherwise after
god,
that
your
stream? 'Cause
fans
that's how
are
I don't know.
everywhere, dude.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I didn't realize. Like, I didn't realize that there were, like, people who were fans of you that were, like, following me and watching my streams and stuff. Like, I didn't know
Then
that
you don't
until,
know
like, I
too much
realized it
about
later
Steven.
on. It's a little bit creepy, I'll admit, but yeah, like, I just didn't think about, I don't know. Like,
Can I wait? Can I real a quick interject? Okay, because again, and this is what makes these conversations so challenging for me, Drew. Okay, and it's hard because like I want to take her at her word. But earlier, before we'd ever met in person, you had expressed to me a lot of disconcern that people were insane online after our conversations. You talked about how there were people making crazy subreddit posts about you, that some people had tweeted at you. So it seemed like you did have some level of awareness before we hung out in person about how crazy it is to interact with somebody and have their fans become like obsessed over you or to go into your stream or chat afterwards. So I don't know how you could have been aware of that to such a strong degree before, because we had at least 2 conversations prior where that happened and then completely and totally forgotten about that when we met each other, especially after I had made it clear to you that you probably shouldn't stream near me because these exact same things might happen. Like, this seems
Also,
impossible for me to believe.
you never, ever, like, I never snuck that, Steven. Like, I literally didn't sneak it.
So she's
you
not
knew
engaging
I
with
was.
the question. I don't know how to...
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to just say that. I just wanted to say that because that really bothered me. Because like, how like, you never like made that a boundary. Like, so like I don't know. That was just like really.
Well, I hate to pivot, but you did sneak that. I didn't know about that stream until weeks later. You didn't tell me that you were streaming. I heard you talking. I thought you were on the phone actually. You never told me you were streaming.
I literally told you.
I
guess
I-
you did.
so-
Okay, I guess there was just a miscommunication then.
Yeah,
upgraded
if you didn't know,
mobility is so
regardless
much,
of your
I
intent.
don't
I didn't
have too
sneak
much.
anything.
Well, here, let's
I'm not
we
a
can
person.
we can
shields.
probably get to this answer inductively. So I had
So-
said
and
multiple
I'm-
times that it wouldn't be a
I've
good idea
played
for you to
so
stream
much
with
with,
me
like,
being on
high
your stream
health
because of how public everything would be.
fighters that
Don't
No,
you
that's not what you said. We were talking about doing an IRL stream, and you were
think it
talking about
used to
that too.
Why did I
Okay.
say? Wait. Why did I say? Wait. Oh no. Wait. Why did I say an IRL stream would be preferable? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
I literally said that for an IRL stream, like you can literally pull up your car to a restaurant and we can meet publicly and have an IRL stream, and people would be far less likely to assume things than if you were literally sitting on my bed in a hotel room streaming. We had this exact conversation.
But that's after the
So
fact,
if
right?
we believe that these conversations happen, don't you think that if you would have told me, hey, I'm gonna come in and stream in the hotel room, don't you think I would have said something about that? So it's pretty obvious that you knew that you didn't tell me.
No,
Because
I didn't know.
Okay,
Jesus Christ, why don't you
Okay,
believe
okay.
me?
All right, okay, I'm
Just
done.
believe me.
Okay, wait. Okay, yeah. So,
Stop. Like, you're
So-
having trust issues. It's like, you can't.
Yeah, he does.
all right.
because
So
he's a
wait.
fucking.
All right, we need to make an
and-
amendment. All
and
right.
Yeah,
the
go
reason
for
he
it.
has
Pause
trust
for a second.
issues is
Sorry.
because he's a
Um,
manipulative person.
I hear
and he
your
thinks everyone
perspective,
else is like
Stephen.
that too.
Unfortunately, I think it
You
just
spend, like,
has to be the
10
case
years
that if you want to have,
online,
if you want to like resolve things,
streaming
and if you
8
want
hours a day
to
or
like
more.
figure this out, you
Most of
have
his
to
relationships
take
are
her for her
online.
word that she
Relationships
didn't
are
realize some of
online.
the stuff
Most
was
of
going to
his life
happen.
is
Because
online.
like
All
what I'm saying is that like if we have this
reputation
conversation for
management.
2 hours and what happens is she
That's
gives
all
you her
it is.
perspective and you say,
His
well, that couldn't be
reputation is his
possible, or
job.
that's not
His image
reasonable,
is his
or
job. He
no
says
reasonable
as much.
person or no actual person would actually think that. Like,
So he
she's just going to
must
feel
protect
dismissed
all-
and talked down to the entire time.
Horrible.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there, but the problem is that right now, there's 2 huge contentions we have. One is her understanding of reality, of like what's actually happened, and then the second thing is the intentions of her actions. And if I can't analyze whether what she's saying is like a true feeling, it's really hard to have a conversation about that. So, for instance, let's say that a man and a woman have a discussion about an open relationship, and you know they come to an agreement that like, okay, well, we're not going to have an open relationship. Let's say that the guy goes out and then fucks a girl and then comes back and they're in therapy and the woman is like, well, he cheated on me, and the guy's like, you have to trust me, I thought that this was okay. Well, they can't really move on past that point, because I mean, if the woman just trusts the guy that he thought that it was okay, well, then the whole thing is resolved, right? Like her entire setup of how everything occurred is totally resolved if I just take her at her word for everything. But because we have so much disagreement on like what's actually happened, and then by extension that of her intentions, of course, like this is something I think that has to be resolved before we come to any agreement about how we feel about things, or moving forward. Sorry, and if you disagree, you can tell me.
I mean,
Okay,
all the
so-
arguments start because you don't trust anything I say, and you're
so-
always trying to like analyze my intentions, and it's so fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I would say, All right, 1 second. I have to ban somebody from chat. He's being an asshole. All right, we're good. Yeah, so I would say that I understand like the arguing about what actually happens stuff. Like I in my own relationship, like arguing about what actually happened is a huge part of arguments for sure.
Yeah, of course.
I think that I don't know of a way, frankly, to have conversations with people where you're trying to resolve something where you question their intentions over and over again. Because like it seems to me like if she's it seems to me she's trying to make a effort to resolve this. If there's contentions about what actually happened, the reality of things, we can talk about that. But like when she gives you her intentions, it seems to me like what needs to happen is you need to say, okay, those were your intentions, and I just need to take your word for it. Like I understand that like it just seems to me like there's not really a way
So I
to
get
have a
yeah. So like here's the problem. Do you know what the most important part of an apology is? Or what do you think is the most important part of an apology?
I would say probably accurately describing what you're apologizing for.
Yeah, I 1,000,000% agree. The most important part of an apology is acknowledging the wrong. But if we're having a fundamental disagreement on the actions that have been committed, I just don't see, because if I accept everything that she says as being true, then her arguments are all validly deductive.
Then you'll have
like,
to feel guilt,
I'm
and
a
you
horrible,
can't handle that.
So I would be like a horrible person that has repeatedly like abused her boundaries. I have gaslighted the fuck out of her. I have been abusive and manipulative. I have outed things for no reason. Like if I accept like all of her arguments, her descriptions of reality, then like, it would logically follow that I'm a terrible, horrible person. So I feel like Sorry.
So what I would say is that I think. This is my opinion. This is not necessarily Anna's. I think that y'all both had boundaries. They conflicted in a serious way, and because of that, there was this like recurring, not good conflict, and it led to all sorts of bad stuff. Okay, I refrain from using things like abusive or toxic or anything like that because I think that really it's more healthy to normalize the fact that like. This type of conflict, like whether people like to admit it or not, is extremely normal. And
when you say this type of conflict, I
agree that I agree when you would say it's not normal for people to send it. I hear you.
To the scale, I think is not quite normal, but I do agree that these types of conflicts happen are normal.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that if there were responsibility on either end to be accepted in this conversation. My point of view is that you would be accepting responsibility for messing up a little bit in a friendship or a relationship like that. I'm not saying that if anyone admits guilt or says, you know what, I'm sorry for this thing, I shouldn't have done this thing. I don't think the reason I wanted to avoid using things like abuse or manipulate. How the hell are you supposed to take responsibility for something if it means you're an abusive person?
Well, how are you supposed to apologize for an abuse or harm you've committed if you can't accept that that's what you've done?
Yeah, no, I agree that you have to agree on like what you're apologizing for, otherwise it doesn't really mean anything. My point is just like, I heard you saying in the last comment, if I apologize for this or I take responsibility for this, then I'm a horrible person. I'm this like crazy, like abusive, manipulative person. And I think that you feel like that's an unfair characterization. So there's no way that you'll apologize for even behavior maybe that went wrong because the conclusion is like something that's like completely out of what you think.
No, that like me being a horrible person would be a byproduct of me like apologizing for some horrible action. My issue is more just that I don't feel like those actions happened. If I feel like I genuinely messed up, it's gotta. So like in terms of like harms I've committed towards Anna or bad things I've done, like I'm an asshole publicly, especially in our conversations. I probably rile her up a little bit. These conversations are probably better off stream. But like that would be like the extent to which it's like, yeah, it's probably kind of a dick move for me to do. But I would say that like 99% of our like disagreements or interactions, I think have been through A-word and M-word behavior on her end, is what I would say.
Okay.
Are you serious? Because that's on your end.
Wait. Both people are going to perceive each other as doing that, right?
I totally I don't.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I didn't say that both people were doing it. I'm saying both people are going to perceive that.
Yeah, of course.
Situation. You understand that? Okay. When there's a boundary conflict, basically what's happening is both people are. Now, to be clear, boundaries are control. They're a form of justifiable control many times within the context of relationships. When people are both trying to exert control over each other, things get really bad when those things conflict. Okay. So it can feel manipulative all the time, right? And so like there's a lot going on here that makes sense. I'm just saying that both people in a boundary conflict are going to feel manipulated because both people are arguing for types of control. People are trying to tell people you can't do any things. Like in the previous conversation, for example, I think you were talking about boundaries. You asked her, why do you think you have the right to comment on my personal life? And so that comment comes across as incredibly controlling, even though it's justifiable because you feel like, look, I've told her I have this boundary, she keeps crossing it or whatever. And she
I didn't though.
You didn't cross what boundary?
I didn't cross the boundary at all. Yeah.
About talking about his personal life?
Yeah, I didn't cross that at all. I looked back at the DMs and I've addressed this a million times. I didn't.
So
I respected that.
Are you saying that once you sorted this out, you didn't do it?
So this is important,
I'm saying
right?
that it didn't happen.
Yeah. So she doesn't believe she's
Completely.
actually committed like any of these wrongs. So this is why I said like the descriptive part is important, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's going to be a
Just look
disagreement.
back at the
here.
DMs.
There's going to be a disagreement here for sure.
A lot of something else that like maybe you can have this conversation later because she'll never admit to it publicly. One thing that she has a really hard time with, and I'm not trying to sound like I don't know if this is like an autism thing or what, but she has a really hard time understanding things that she is heavily implying. So for instance, I might say
That's
something
your
like
perspective.
I might say something on stream and she might say, oh wow, here's 15 articles on Machiavellianism and how people that have these dark traits are horrible people, and then I'll be like,
Okay, that's
damn,
not
like
what I
that's
say,
that's
and
like
that's not
that's
what
like
I
a
do.
that's a really
That's
brutal
a gross
thing.
exaggeration.
That's a really brutal thing to say, and then she'll be like, what? I'm not accusing you of any of this. I'm not, like, she never understands like the things that she's implying. Or for instance, she says, I don't know if she's accepted that like the comments she made about my kid were inappropriate, but she'll say things like, oh, I wasn't implying that you were a horrible father or anything. You know, I was just laughing about the fact that fathers who live away from their kids have
Also, I
blah, blah,
wasn't
blah, blah.
laughing. I wasn't laughing.
Okay,
You know that's my anxiety and uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously, Anna, you disagree with some of what was said, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond in just a second. In the previous conversation, I would say, I did see her say that she shouldn't have said anything about your son.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but she goes back and forth on whether she should or shouldn't. I don't know if
No,
she
I
truly
don't.
believes that that was like a wrong
No,
thing
I,
to do, but
no, I don't. I
Wait,
said
so-
that
so-
I understand it hurt you, and so I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that it's not fair. Like, if you mischaracterize my behavior, then yeah, I'm gonna correct it. Cause you said, well, she's laughing about it. I wasn't laughing at you. It's my nervous, like, uncomfortable laughing when someone asked me that question.
Yeah.
And it was like me being really uncomfortable, like, like that kind of thing. Like I know it sounds weird. Like, it's my nervous.
yeah. So
laughing.
like again, so she's saying this, but like on the 5th, she sent me a message saying, I'm sure you felt very betrayed by me saying that on my stream, and I'm sorry for that, but I do feel like moving so far away from your son isn't ideal.
mean, yes, I
also
do
said
think that
she also
way,
said the next
right?
day that like I know you care about your son a lot. I never doubted that. That doesn't mean I agree with your parenting choices, though, right? So she'll say this
Right.
thing where like it was inappropriate for me to say it publicly, but then she'll
Okay.
provide justifications for why she said it. And it's like, okay, so then you don't think it was
Even
like,
I really do think that, though. Do you understand that I really do think that? It's just I understand. Like, people are allowed to have their opinions, Steven, on other people's, like, behavior. It's just that I understand that I shouldn't have said that on stream.
So another thing that she does, it's also very frustrating, is she will use like these kind of blanket, like everybody is allowed to have an opinion, but then she'll use that that idea to then like publicly say things that are like very hurtful, offensive, and then when you say like, hey, it's really shitty that
Okay,
you said
well, do
that,
you want me to lie?
she'll be like, oh well, everybody's allowed to have an opinion about something. This is like a really common trend as well.
Oh, okay, no. Should I have just lied to you then? Would you rather hear lies? That, oh no, I don't think that, Steven. No, I don't think that. Like, no, I'm not gonna lie. That's I honestly think that
Should
way.
I have lied when people asked if we had a sexual relationship?
Well, I mean, you shouldn't have said anything because
So do you
that
think
was
that
a
maybe it
huge
would be-
boundary thing
do you
that
think-
I begged you to like keep quiet.
Wait. So do you think it might be a fair boundary of mine that I wouldn't want you talking about my relationship with my son in a public?
First of all, you literally never, like, I don't see how these
He's
are
really
equal at
defensive
all.
about his
Because,
son,
like,
but
one
only
thing
when
is
his son
something
is
that
not
the
around.
public is not aware
When his
of.
son is
Like, everyone
around.
knows you have a kid. It's not like he's hidden or something.
Do you
I
understand
didn't
that
out
by
the fact that you had a kid.
Do you understand that by you and me
That's what's
having
different.
a more
Mm.
personal
Oh my God.
relationship, that people might see things that you say about my personal life as having a tad more authority than a random person on the internet?
Yeah. Okay.
Steven, I understand that.
Wait. Okay. So we are now actively rehashing what's already been said.
Mhm.
Anna, could you explain why you thought it was inappropriate to talk about his son, separate of like what you personally think, because I want to make sure that it seems like you've taken responsibility for this,
Okay.
but it seems like you may have not said the thing like in a way in which
With AI,
Destiny
there's no way
recognized
I'm
that.
playing fucking
And I understand
Okay.
that, like when you apologize, but then you say
The-
why.
The point
like,
is
Maybe
that
I
I'm not
shouldn't.
allowed to have that thought. I'm not allowed to have that opinion. This is the whole point.
You can have a thought
I'm
or an
not
opinion.
allowed.
There's a difference between having a thought
I'm not
and an
allowed to
opinion
think that way.
and voicing it in a public forum. Do you acknowledge the difference between these two things?
I mean, yeah, but like then
Then
you
I did-
keep telling me that like I shouldn't have said that then. Like,
Because I'm not talking
what
about
is
the
it? Am I allowed to have a thought or am I
okay,
not?
okay, wait, okay. So Anna, what you're saying is that when you express why it was said, you're saying this is just my thought. It's not a justification. This is my opinion. And he's objecting to you saying that because it seems like it undermines the apology. So you're saying it seems like you're not allowed to express your thoughts because he's
Yeah.
going to take that as you making exceptions or reasons for why you did things in
Because I do think it's harmful.
Well, and also
Okay.
to be clear, my problem, I just want to be razor clear, I don't mind the thoughts or the opinions. What I don't like is the vocalizing of them on a public platform. You can think whatever
Okay,
you want. I
okay.
don't want to control someone's thoughts or opinions.
Okay,
But you
okay.
can
Then
control
why
what I
did you
say.
get upset at me for sending you the messages? Those were private.
Your
so why
comments,
is that bad?
your comments about my son were not private, and you made them on a public stream.
Well, wait.
But
She,
you-
she, so
I'm-
wait. Okay, wait. There's a misunderstanding.
That's
So
not
she,
what I'm talking about.
yeah. She's talking.
God.
Okay. So what's happening right now is she's saying, okay. So you just said, okay. You just said basically. So she apologized last time y'all were on stream for doing this publicly, right? And you said, well, she sent me these DMs, which shows to me she's justifying it, right?
Yeah.
And then you're citing, well, wait.
Oh
she
my
doesn't
God.
seem like she's justifying it,
took
or that's not her
everything.
perspective. She's giving her thoughts. And so when she says, well, I'm not trying to justify it, I'm trying to share my thoughts, and it's private, and then you go back to, don't say it publicly, we're kind of circling around the same topic and kind
Yeah,
of
I'm
dodging
sorry.
each
Let me be
other.
like super clear. So she said something publicly, and then she justified it to me privately, meaning
I did not justify it. That's not a justification.
Okay,
Stop
okay.
mixing it up. Stop gaslighting me, please. Stop
so
it.
it's- so,
Yes,
so
gaslighting.
how about this? If you
You're driving people crazy.
so to be fair,
Stop.
I understand.
This-
Anna, if you need a minute, by the way, you're
Steven
more
making
than willing.
women
There's no way
cry.
I can ever get him to like believe me. This is
Yeah.
insanity. It's
Okay.
insanity.
Okay. So Destiny, I
Yeah.
think what's happening here, first
Oh,
of all, is
God.
that so when you're saying you're justifying
Oh,
it,
my.
you are putting what you're essentially doing is you're saying you're not letting her give her perspective. What you're saying is that no, actually what you're doing is this, not
yeah, I'm
to
sorry.
me,
I could be using the term explaining it better. I would expect that somebody that's going into therapy in less than a
Wait,
year to
no,
be doing something
wait,
is like
wait.
because
No,
hold on because you
no.
wait because you
Stop
said
being so
earlier
judgmental.
that if somebody apologizes for something but then they immediately go on to list explanations for that behavior, it undermines the apology. So I was
No,
just
it
giving an
doesn't.
Okay,
example.
wait,
I was just giving an example
Okay,
of how
wait,
she
so
apologized for it in the past, then she undermined it, and then she's also done the same thing in this very
The way-
conversation.
You're
The way that
missing.
you
You're
do
missing.
this
You're missing
is
what
you
I'm
say I
saying.
feel.
Shit, I
Sure,
ran out
yeah,
of
go
words.
ahead. What do you think I'm missing?
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is that when you go into, I'm sorry, people are. This is ridiculous.
This
there's
is
a bunch-
insane.
so when
You're
people,
claiming I
when
did
people-
things I never did.
yeah. Okay. So part of the reason she gets upset about this is because.
Gaslighting.
So okay. Yeah. So it okay.
Feels like
I'm
she's
being
mentally
st- yeah.
unwell is what it feels like.
No,
Okay.
no.
Gaslighting. You're
Destiny.
gaslighting me.
Okay.
Destiny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no. Okay, the reason it comes across to her as gaslighting is because what's happening is that you're not saying, when you say these things privately, it makes me feel like you're justifying it. You're not saying it makes me feel like you're justifying it. You're saying, no, you're trying to justify it.
Exactly.
Rather than saying your perception of it, you're saying that 100% basically what she's doing rather than
Yeah,
saying,
I mean,
this is my
I mean,
perspective on it.
Yeah, like, if it makes her feel better, again, I would have assumed because of, like,
makes
the
her
level of
feel
competency in these topics that we wouldn't have to play word
That's
games.
an
But, like,
apology.
I can
No,
do...
it's not a word game, Destiny. This is
No.
Sure.
how-
So let me
this
be.
is
Wait.
how
Hold
you
on. Wait.
resolve
So
conflict.
yeah. Sure. No. So this is how you resolve conflict between all of you because they don't want to feel attacked. But you must understand that when I say something like you're being manipulative versus I feel like you're being manipulative, both of those statements are really the same thing. You just say I
No.
feel
No,
you.
it's not.
Hold on.
No,
No,
they're
they're not.
they're very
Words
different.
So
matter.
they're absolutely the
No.
same thing. Everything
No,
that you
they are
express.
No, they're
Drew.
not the
They are
same.
not.
Drew. Okay.
Because no therapist would say no.
Drew. If I were to tell you something that I think you're doing, that's always going to be a feeling that I have, right? By definition, it's always going to be any proposition that I make is a feeling that I have. The reason why we use I feel statements instead of more like declarative statements like that is because we want to feel like we're not like ascribing like intent or telling another person exactly how they are. Rather, we're giving like a feeling. But at the end of the day, like it's a similar statement. I can rephrase these in
It's
terms of
still-
I feel, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But if it makes you feel better, I can. Yeah.
So to be clear, the way, from what I understand, the way that all of conflict resolution is done is by using I feel statements rather than statements
is.
like that.
Of
Okay,
course.
Yeah.
and the reason I'm saying that is like I understand what you're saying is that the distinction is minor,
Yeah.
but it is profound.
It is,
because when you're specifically when you're in a conflict, anything that will trigger defensiveness or making someone feel like you're assuming their position or dismissing them or attributing them motive that they don't have, any of that is going to make people feel like they're not heard, like they're being dismissed, not mischaracterized, etc., etc.
Yeah, I agree with you. I guess my
It
hope or
escalates the
expectation
conflict.
for somebody that's going into like some sort of like therapy field for psychology would be like a little bit more
wait.
cognizant of their own feelings. But yeah, I mean,
So,
like,
to be-
I can drop this whole thing and I'll say like I feel like she did this, if that makes her feel better for it. If that helps her
Okay,
process the same as
okay,
yeah.
makes her
it
feel
does.
better.
Number one, I think it will help, and number two, to be clear,
Yeah.
I am also working on my master's, and this is still something that I have to do within my own relationship.
Sure.
This isn't something that's particularly wrong with Anna, that she doesn't understand the context of her own field and she should know better. This is normal.
Sure.
human
Okay. So
behavior.
then I'll rephrase everything that I said then. Instead of saying she's justifying her behavior for attacking my relationship with my son publicly, I feel like she's justifying her behavior for attacking my
That's
relationship
so
with my
much
son publicly.
better.
Okay.
Don't
That
you
is-
see the difference, Steven? That's so much better. Because that doesn't. That's not
okay,
that.
so go ahead, Drew, and then we can move from here.
Yeah, so like you see, like I'm just saying, like immediately this is like a less serious situation because it feels like you're giving her the opportunity to have her own point of view. Do you understand that? Like even if the distinction is silly to you, I think it's extremely important. Not for Anna because Anna's specifically crazy or something, because she's not. It's important for almost everyone. Okay,
Sure,
to
so
be
here,
clear.
Drew, so this is my problem, Drew. Okay, I agree with you like 99% of the way. Okay, but the reason why I specifically disagree here is because, so if somebody apologizes for something and then they start to provide rationalizations for the behavior, it's a justification, and that's what that is. Now, when I say I feel like you're justifying something
I
instead of
was
you are justifying something, my worry is
focusing
that there is
silence
enough
earlier.
gap, there's enough like sunlight in that statement of I feel that she can say, oh, well, I don't really have to worry about that because I know that's not what's happening. And then totally ignores the entire thing that, well, you are providing justifications for a behavior that you were also apologizing for. That's kind of like my issue with
I've
using
always-
an I feel statement here.
I'm
Do-
always a
is that-
reasonable person, Steven, and I always care about your feelings. I like every time you've said that to me, I've always been like, okay, maybe I was insensitive, or like, okay, I'll try and do. Like, I've never been unreasonable and been like, nope, you're just wrong. Like, nope, you're feeling so bad. Like, no, like
Okay.
I don't.
Wait, Drew, do you
Okay.
understand what my concern is? Do you understand what I mean there? Like,
It sounds like you are concerned with the leeway that the
Yes.
feeling statement
Yeah.
gives. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
100%,
Okay, what I would say to that is I hear your concern,
Mhm.
and I don't know of another way to actually.
okay, then in that case, let's rewind 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. Then I'll go back and then I'll say, so my problem is I feel like she has a pattern of doing something that I feel like looks like justifications for behaviors that she has apologized for, which to me feels like she didn't sincerely mean the apology, because I feel like the most important part of an apology is acknowledging that you've done something wrong, and it feels like when I feel like she's justifying things that she's not actually taking responsibility for what she's done there.
That's
Okay.
valid. That's
Okay.
valid, Steven.
Okay, and can I point something out here?
Okay.
I would note that when you phrased it that way, she's not getting upset. Okay. And the
I
reason
don't know
wanna
if that's to prove a point or if it's actually
no,
true, but go ahead.
it's,
Yeah.
no, it's Steven.
No, it's
She was
genuine.
just extremely upset.
Okay.
I do not think that she is capable of just faking being okay with it now. Okay? And the reason I want to point this out is because, to be blunt, I think that there has been a tremendous disservice done to her by characterizing her as particularly crazy or something.
Okay.
And to be straight, like, the fact that, so all that had to happen was, like, minor changes like this, and this conflict starts to break down a little bit. And
So I feel like we've tried that in the past, but then 3 or 4 days later, I'll start getting the messages again about how horrible
Okay,
or
okay.
abusive. Yeah,
So
go ahead.
okay, so wait. So if that happens, okay, I'm not privy to your DMs. Okay.
Sure.
It seems like to me, if the conflict is not resolved for somebody, you're gonna keep getting the messages. Okay.
yeah.
Especially when
That's literally how it goes.
especially when she feels like there's people like Dan making like okay, like to be clear,
Disgusting accusations about
weird like armchair psychoanalysis and like
Yeah, sure. I agree. The dance stuff is dumb.
Okay.
But the problem. So my
It's
problem
not dumb,
returning.
it's hurtful and dangerous.
Returning
and
back,
slander.
returning back
Yeah.
to what I had said earlier is I don't know if proper like conflict resolution can occur if both of us aren't agreeing on the wrongs committed, and if I feel like she's continuing to provide justifications for behavior that she also apologized
fuck?
for,
PPP
and
is
it
going
feels
off
to
the
me
crowd
like
now?
no actual apology has taken place, therefore no conflict resolution has taken place, therefore we're going to be back in the same place, in a
Then
few days.
tell me
Okay.
what you want to see,
Yeah,
Steven.
That's
I
not how
got
that
you.
works. I can't do that.
okay, all right,
Oh my
wait,
God.
all
Yeah,
right,
go for it.
Oh my god.
okay, all right. What specific things do
Surprise.
each of you need to happen for this to be considered resolved? Okay. The reason I wanted to, because we can talk all day about he said, she said, she did this, I did. Okay. What specifically needs to happen so that Anna's not up at night upset about this, and Destiny is not concerned about like her talking about him or her messaging him when he doesn't feel like it's fair? Like, what needs to happen for both of you? Okay. Like, what needs to happen?
I mean, I'm completely detached from this issue. I don't need anything to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like to me you're detached, but if it's not
That's
resolved
really
for her,
hurtful. But that's really hurtful. Like, how could you just say that? Don't you see how cold and callous that is?
He does. He'll say it anyway.
so you're saying
You don't even care.
Nope.
Can I ask you
No,
a
he
question,
doesn't.
Destiny?
Yeah. What's
You
up?
don't even get it.
He does
One
get
second,
it.
I have to ban somebody. Yeah. Okay.
That's
So
sociopathic.
So okay, it's because hey, we agreed to not.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. I understand.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Anna, you're doing a great job, by the way. And I think, and Destiny, thank you for trying to extend some olive branches and follow through with what you think is a little silly. I appreciate you.
No,
actually
I have no
going through it.
problem. It's all good. I'm an
Okay,
olive tree
I appreciate
right now.
it.
I have so many branches.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I want to check in before we move on to what I was about to say. Everyone still wants to be here and having this conversation, right?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. You're still cool to be here, Anna? Do you think this is productive?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want
For
to be clear
who?
that because there's some
I mean,
people are concerned that
It's productive because holy fuck,
this is messed up or
people should
something. I want to be
realize
clear
he's
that
a fucking sociopath.
this is you
and
want to be
just
here, you want to
fucking
resolve
stop
this,
watching him.
and yada yada yada, right?
I don't understand why it's so
Yeah.
difficult.
Okay. How okay.
How many fucking
so
girls does he has to
What
manipulate,
specifically
get pregnant,
is
leave
upsetting about the fact that he says that he's
before
detached from this? So I can
people figure
understand.
this out?
Because
My morning. I'm ready.
Ready over here as well.
like because I thought that we had like an emotional connection and stuff, and like I thought that like he cared about me and stuff. Like I cared about him, and like I mean he said I was he said that like I was important to him, and we were like, he called me a close friend, and like I don't know, just like how do you just detach from all feelings from
He's-
So it
that?
feels
You
like
just do.
you're upset, and the fact that he can be detached from the fact that you're upset is what's upsetting you right now. Is that right?
Yeah, just to say
Okay.
that it's so callous to
Yeah.
say that.
So okay, I want to ask Desi a question. Destiny, I realized that it sounded like in the previous conversation the reason that this came out is because you were concerned about protecting yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Or,
Okay.
or wait, when you say like why I made anything public, yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah.
Why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If there was a way
He's gonna
that you
say
could
it.
have
He's gonna
protected
say
yourself
my-
without subjecting Anna
my
to this
reputation
particular type of
is my brand,
emotional situation, you would have done that course of action,
So I
correct?
have to
Yeah,
pretend
1,000,000%.
I'm a good guy.
Not
I
even
cannot
for
allow
being a good
anyone-
person, but because it damages my future relationships with people if they think that I'm keen to leak stuff or do something like that without
There you
provocation.
go.
Yeah, I typically
Yeah.
There we fucking go.
That feels, see, to me, that feels like victim blaming, you know?
Well, wait. Wait.
To be very clear, she's doing the thing where she has like a term in psych and she uses it improperly in order to aggress on somebody else. It's very irritating.
Wait,
Sorry,
okay.
go ahead.
All right.
I'm just expressing my, how I
And now,
Yeah,
wait, she just did it again. See how she used an I feel statement
Okay.
there? First of all, wait. First of all, wait, Drew, I just want to be super clear on what just happened so we can just figure this out. So one, she didn't use an I feel statement, just like she did it now. She didn't say I feel you're abusive. She didn't use an I feel. She used a descriptive statement to say that you are doing something. And then afterwards, when I said, well, it feels like she's using a term improperly, then she said that was just a feeling, even though she didn't phrase it. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. Sorry. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
I'm expressing my feelings. That's what I mean.
Okay. So I think it sounds like basically you're saying that she should have used different language than she did to express that it was a feeling, not an actual descriptive
No.
accusation.
Personally, I don't care about the I feel statements from her. But I'm just saying that the way that she uses these statements, she weaponizes like little terms that she's learned in psych. She weaponizes that to take something that should be like protective and then use it in an aggressive manner. So, for instance, when she says, "I feel
didn't aggress
that
on
you
That
are
wasn't an
abusive,"
attack.
or "I feel that you are victim blaming," right? She's taking an I feel statement and then she's using that I feel statement to make a descriptive, aggressive statement towards me. And it's like, oh well, fuck. But if I try to call her out on that, if I try to just like, well, hold on, this isn't okay. You can't say that. She's like, well, that was just an I feel statement. I have a right to
Okay.
express my opinion.
Okay.
Okay, so how am I supposed to express that I feel, how am I supposed to express that?
You don't,
Like,
you
should I
just
not?
shut
Should I
up
just, like,
And
keep
and
it
obey your master.
inside then, is what you're saying. That's the only right way to deal with that. If I feel like I'm being victim blamed, like, I can't say that because that's attacking you then. That's aggressing upon you then.
What do you think, Drew? Is there any other way to express the idea that I might be victim blaming without saying like I feel like you are victim blaming?
Maybe so. I think the idea she's trying to express is simply so. Okay, I think there's sort of a misunderstanding. Okay, I think the point of my of my question to you, Destiny, was to not talk about other relationships or like some like real utilitarian perspective about like how you should like maximize your own. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. It just seems like it's not coming across to her that it matters that she was hurt in the situation. And the reason I asked that question is it sounds like her being hurt is an unintended consequence of having to defend yourself.
Oh yeah,
From your
1,000,000%. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
so-
Yeah, I'm not like
yeah, so-
maliciously going out to like
But-
fuck with anybody. Of course. Yeah.
But you've shown zero remorse at all.
Yeah,
Because I'm
yeah,
not
so-
remorseful for
Wait a
anything I've
minute,
done. That doesn't mean that I'm trying.
Well,
to hurt someone.
wait.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
don't have to express remorse for like doing what you did to feel like you need to defend yourself to acknowledge that you've hurt her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I can acknowledge that I've heard without being
no,
remorseful for
he
it. If I
will-
feel like she
no,
brought it on
he-
herself, and I
I
feel like
mean,
this was like the
that's
natural
technically
consequence that had to
true,
come
but
out of her
he
behavior,
doesn't
I mean,
think
it's really
that
hard for me to be
he
remorseful
thinks
for it.
he
I mean, like, we're
is
all
weak.
adults here. Like, we're super adults.
horrible.
It's not like she's like 19. Like,
Yeah.
we're super adults here. Like,
Horrible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the reason like even for me, like as a third party, it comes across as like
it's cold. Yeah,
when you say,
I understand that.
Extremely.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that I come across as cold. That's not really an argument against anything I'm
Callous.
saying, but I understand that it can be cold and callous. But you also have to understand that I wish that I could cry on command, because if I was crying, okay, this is what it
Crying
would
on
sound like.
command?
It was like, so I
Is he
have
saying
a
she's
very
crying on
tumultuous
command?
relationship with
Is
my
he
child,
doing
and
the
I
thing
really
that
care about him, and I
she
love him.
just
And when I see
accused
somebody
her
like
of
Anna,
doing?
that she knew me personally, that she comes out and she makes statements about how I was abusive, that I abandoned my son, and feel like I had to say something publicly in order to tell people that it wasn't right. That what like that's what it would sound like. And then maybe my statement wouldn't sound as cold, but like I mean I could try to phrase it that way if it makes it feel better. But that's
No.
essentially
No,
what's
no.
happened, right?
no, that's not
No.
what anyone is asking for.
Okay, but that's what it sounds like, because like basically she came out. So here's what's happened. She has a personal relationship with me. She's come out. She's made a declaration about my relationship with my son. I have to come out and say something about it. Otherwise, people are going to assume, well, she knows him better than we do, and even she's saying that he's neglectful towards his child. Well, I have to
I
get out
didn't
ahead of
say
her.
that though. I didn't say neglectful.
Well, wait. So his position, though, like, just to be clear, I know this was not your intention, Anna. His
Disconnect?
position is that
What the fuck
implying
happened?
in saying it there isn't really a distinction there
What
because
the
that's
fuck,
how.
Yeah, I
EA? Is that
know.
your
Yeah,
server?
so-
It's just weird to me.
Yeah, well, I think
I'm not.
I think to be fair, like, I understand that point of view. I understand that wasn't your intention though, and you didn't want it to be taken that way. Okay.
I just didn't ever realize, because like I was never like told though by you, Steven, that like if I did something that like upset you, that like my privacy boundaries would be completely like null and void, you know? Like I just wish you had let me know that like, hey, you know,
So-
if you do something that's gonna like
Yeah, so real
Okay.
quick, so Drew, I'm so sorry, and I hate to go back to this, but like establishing intent is so important for how I evaluate the action. So when she says,
Yeah.
and I'm doing a lot of this deductively, and I know that you can't like deduce like intent, so I'm just going by actions. But when she's making it sound like almost like I didn't realize that there was going to be a negative consequence to my action. I didn't realize that what I was saying was so fucked up. But in the very clip that she says it, 5 seconds later, she's like, oh no, I'm not going to say anything else, or you guys are going to clip me. So she clearly was aware that what she was talking about was improper or inappropriate. She had that awareness.
no, it was
Come on.
that I was gonna say something else, but then I stopped because I didn't want it to be clipped
yeah.
and then like
I
upset
just-
you and
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't agree with what she's saying right now.
Here's what I'd say.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm literally telling you how I felt.
Yeah.
Like that's literally my mindset.
Even if it's the case.
Stop being paranoid.
that If she, even if it's the case that she, like says, oh, I should stop or I should be clipped. That doesn't necessarily mean that like that could just be her
Where's my
realizing she
flares?
shouldn't be
What the
talking about what she's
fuck?
talking
Why are
about.
my flares
Yeah,
breaking?
and that's fine, but like, unless she is literally like a ward of the state with a caretaker, like you should have the wherewithal to know
Wait,
that you're talking.
dude, okay.
No, I'm sorry. Hold on, because
Just
because
stop.
your behavior towards her is, or I'm sorry. Hold on, I don't want to attack you. It feels like you are infantilizing her to an unbelievable extent. Like, oh well, she realized, you know, after making a couple statements about your relationship with your son on her public stream, maybe she realized after that that wasn't a good idea. I don't believe that realization should have taken until after she made those statements to say that. I don't
asked
agree with
me.
that.
Someone asked me if they thought that you abandoned your kid, and I
Oh my
said
God,
that
there's no way.
you moved really far away, and like I was kind of trying to like, you know, be like as fair as possible,
So-
but also like I'm not gonna just be like, no, that's completely fine what he did. It's all fine and great and good when
So-
it's fucking not.
Drew, you hear? So now, Drew, we've come full circle. You hear that this is I'm sorry. It feels like she's justifying it now again, right? Do you understand that? How I feel that way?
I can see that perspective.
Okay, but like, not like, well, Destiny, maybe you're in an emotionally dysregulated state. Maybe I can see. No, but like, I'm not gonna use. I feel similar. She just provided a justification for why she said what she did. So like, any apology that she's given up to this point is completely hollow because now she's saying well, if somebody
No, that
asks
was
me,
an
I'm not going to lie
explanation.
about why I've said what I've said. Like, of course, I'm going to give an opinion on
Okay.
what the.
No, I explained what I did, not justified it.
Yeah. So this is
Oh shit.
this is a key
Not
point of
what I wanna do.
disagreement.
I didn't wanna
Is that
fucking
when she's trying to like
boost.
okay, first of all, I'm just gonna ask
Where
number
are
one, can
my
you
fucking
not do this
flares?
thing? Because okay, so let me put it this way.
Yeah.
When you say statements like, I feel like any person outside of a psych ward would recognize. Like, do you understand like the implications of blasting something like that out on your platform?
I legitimately think.
Like, dude, like I understand.
I understand that it's
Come
so,
on.
so
To do that,
like the
though?
added level. So I would agree with you in most situations. The added level is that like I genuinely feel like if she has patience, they're going to be killing themselves in
What
record
is
numbers.
this
Like I think
shit?
that she has like a huge
That's-
like
that's-
this
see,
like
this is
Okay.
my
slander.
entire
Like,
interactions with her are
This is
unimaginable.
terrible what you're doing.
That's
This is
like
Okay,
that's the only
listening.
horrible.
so this is the only reason why I lean into this a little bit harder is because I feel like somebody like her, if anybody in society should have more wherewithal for these types of conversations, it should be somebody in her position that's going to have like
Wait,
this much emotional
okay,
power over people's
okay.
lives. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. To be extremely clear
Mhm.
about this, I think, and this is my perspective,
Extremely
Yeah.
clear.
I think that this conflict
Mhm.
is probably above average in intensity for sure,
No, it
but
isn't.
in no way does that affect her qualifications as a therapist.
Yeah,
Every
kinda does.
interaction that I've had with her demonstrates to me that she is on her way to becoming a competent therapist. To be clear, like
And there's another
And-
psych major who agrees, but he
and,
just
like-
chose
like-
not to join.
like when I hear you say something like that, it's like, okay, by what metric are we judging this? Because the truth is, like, and obviously I'm being biased right here, to be clear, because I just think it is not fair to start attacking her qualifications when, to be frank, I think, look, therapists are people, they have conflicts. There's conflicts can get pretty out of hand, okay? That does not mean that for some reason that their clients are going to be killing themselves en masse. Like, do you understand? Like you don't judge a counselor. Like, clearly mental health is important.
I'm so curious on this because I totally disagree with what you're saying, and I don't even know if you agree with what you're saying. So when you are a therapist, the skills that you learn in therapy, I think you said earlier, you apply these in your personal relationships. And I've heard this ubiquitously throughout people that we've watched YouTube videos of people that talk about doing therapy and everything. And over and over and over again, I usually hear the statements, oh yeah, like as a clinical psychologist that sees patients, a lot of the conversational techniques or de-escalation techniques, conflict resolution that I learn in therapy, I can apply to my own relationships, and they're incredibly helpful, right?
Yeah. So I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I made a mistake. It's called making a mistake, Steven.
Yeah. So I would also say, and this is somebody who's being trained in all this, and I'm in a long-term relationship. It is extremely difficult. Yeah. So like, I make every effort to apply what I learn in my own relationship. But when you are close to a conflict, it is much harder than just saying, oh yeah, I apply the stuff that I learn in conflict resolution to my relationship.
Yeah, I would understand that in a single.
It's not like basically what
Come
happens
on, targeted.
is that if somebody who has a serious conflict happens to be a therapist, that all of a sudden they don't recognize the principles that they promulgate with their clients.
But that's, I agree with you, except there's one metric that changes all of that, and it's the time part. I would agree that I wouldn't expect a therapist to perfectly handle every single conflict in their life because they're therapists. They're humans, of course. But if you've had a sufficient amount of time for self-reflection, then I believe that as a therapist, you should be, and you must agree with this, or I'm curious, maybe you don't. Do you agree that somebody that practices these techniques as part of their clinical practice is going to be far better equipped than the average person to over time analyze and introspect on relationship conflicts they've had? Or do you think they're just as equipped as a normal person to do it?
No, I actually agree.
Second rule.
But I think that there are these really minor, they're not minor. I'm just saying they're detailed disagreements that are causing these continual conflicts back and forth, and it's like it seems really difficult to figure out how we're gonna actually settle those. Because it seems like you have deep disagreements about particular facts.
I don't know. I've admitted that it was wrong. I said that it was wrong, and I shouldn't have done it. I don't know what else you want. Trick me.
No. Yeah. So like
So wait. Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So the reason I would say that this conflict is bad for a lot of reasons, but I would also note that, as I previously stated in the previous conversation, I counted almost 10 times where she opted to try to take responsibility for the ways in which she did wrong. Like, I realized that there's sort of a disagreement about what that taking responsibility means, because you think that, well, if she does this, it invalidates it. But she took responsibility to a significantly higher degree than the average person that I would expect to do
and
that.
then Destiny
it seems to me
didn't take responsibility for Jack.
It just viewing this as an outsider, like I said, I've known her for 2 weeks. My interactions with her indicate that she isn't a crazy person like you and your friends seem to be interested in making her out to be. But in this conflict, taking responsibility for your actions is a very, very, very good sign. Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Wait. Okay, let's talk about this real quick because I totally disagree.
Okay. Yeah.
When you say that she takes responsibility higher than the average person, this goes along with earlier why I said that I would be worried about her being a therapist, because it feels like she has a fundamental misunderstanding of how a lot of these concepts are applied in psych. She'll know the term, but she won't understand the concept. So, for instance, the way that she weaponizes "I feel" statements, or the way that she weaponizes how apologies work, or uses words like "I'm just explaining, not justifying."
Explain how
these are things.
I don't understand what you mean when you say that.
So these are things.
I don't understand what you mean.
So earlier when you said, I feel like you're manipulating me, I feel like you're victim blaming. I feel like you're abusive. I didn't say manipulate. I said I feel like this is victim blaming. Sure. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay. So that's an act of weaponizing?
So,
saying?
so the fact that she
Can
does
you help
that,
me
and then
understand?
earlier, I've already explained this a million times. So if you're not going to understand already, you're clearly not understanding. Wait, I just want to finish my response to your other thing. Because you said
I know,
earlier.
I'm trying to get.
Yeah. You said earlier that she
Go ahead.
took responsibility, and you counted 9 times. Okay. Also, she didn't
Yeah.
even use "I feel" earlier. Just to be clear, she said "I feel" retroactively as a defense to those declarations about me. But when you say that she took responsibility, I don't believe, as we've tried to establish this conversation, I don't believe that you can take responsibility for something if you, 1, don't acknowledge the actual incorrect thing you did, and 2, can't acknowledge that without rationalizing it, explaining it, justifying it,
Yeah, but
or giving reasons why you
so
did
she
something.
apologizes
That-
for what
so
she
when you say she took
thinks
responsibility, she might
did
have said the
wrong,
words.
but
Again, it's in
he
line with
doesn't like
everything
it
I already
because that's
criticized.
not what
She
he-
knows like the
he
concepts,
thinks
like
she
she'll
did
say the
wrong.
words, but
But
she doesn't
then
understand, or she'll know the terms.
he's
she doesn't
asked to
understand the
apologize,
concept.
he says,
she
"But
hasn't
I
actually
don't-
taken responsibility for
done
anything.
anything wrong."
Okay. From her point of view, she has. I understand why you think that she hasn't. So, when I went through this conversation, one of the things that I marked out, let me see if I can find it for you, is that one of the times she took responsibility. So there was a particular interaction where, and I'll let you speak in a second. It sounds like you want to speak too.
did slightly better this game, but still.
Yeah, are you still okay to be here?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, because
So
I understand.
stressful.
How,
Yeah,
how are you gonna? This is
You
like
know what I
wait.
mean?
this is aggressive, but
Yeah.
like this is a very low stakes conversation. Like, how would somebody like this
No,
deal with a
whoa,
suicidal
wait.
patient,
I'm
or deal with
literally physically
like that's something that's like
shaking. My
genuinely
heart is
confusing to me. I
racing.
guess like I don't
Okay,
understand.
it-
Every
Destiny?
time I speak with you,
Destiny,
please.
I've got to be honest. It doesn't feel like a low stakes conversation to me. Like, because like you realize it's like because of the way you've handled like the way like the last talk happened, especially what's on the line is not just like she made some mistakes. It's that she's terrible, she's crazy,
I'm
she's gonna kill her
delusional.
future. Yeah, like it's
These
not
are horrible things to
like
say.
part of the
No way.
reason that this
Like-
conflict
like-
is
like-
even
like-
worse now is because essentially what happened last time. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that you were trying last time, even though some stuff didn't work. Dan was bullying her the whole time.
Sure,
You
I
acknowledge that, right?
understand. I understand what you're saying, and I
Dan,
guess, like,
Dan was demanding rent.
do you see how she's using the words that I used earlier now? But so I understand what you're saying, but the problem is that like I don't believe that there is
Everything I'm saying is manipulative. Everything. Do you see how this could drive a person to be like
Yeah.
fucking?
So I want to. I need to say something.
stressed.
Yeah. I want to say something extremely clear. Yeah.
So
I want to
this
say
is
something.
yeah, go
Wait,
for it.
wait.
Okay, go for it.
I have to say something. Okay?
Yeah.
I completely understand why she's this upset. Okay. I'm trying to
I mean, I
trying to
understand as
figure-
well. Like, I think I have a good understanding
okay.
of that too.
Okay. Would you do me a favor and try to say why you understand, like what specifically?
Not dismissive.
Yeah, sure. Her
Yeah,
understanding
yeah.
is that she had a very close relationship with somebody that she considered to be a very close friend. She confided in a lot of things in me privately. We had a shared like physical relationship in real life, and she thought that she was building on that. And then out of nowhere, it seems like I have completely 180'd on that relationship. I've become incredibly callous and cold and emotionally disconnected. I have rebuffed her attempts to resolve the conflict privately. I'm not responding to any arguments. It feels like I am now accusing her of being crazy and insane for things that she feels like she didn't do. And now she feels like it's become a public issue where I am calling her crazy and insane with no justification, with no provocation. And she feels like she's simply trying to approach a conversation with me where she's trying to resolve these issues, but I'm unwilling to hear her side of the story. It's probably why she feels upset.
Is that fair, Anna?
Yeah, it still lacks empathy though.
Because I'm sorry.
feel so
Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me try to explain this again. It feels like she thought that she was like in a really close relationship.
Jesus
Like,
fuck.
hold on, wait.
No,
Okay. Do you understand, Drew? I'm sorry. So I might be a little bit cold or sociopathic as a person, but it drives me crazy that like I can just be accused of not having empathy. Why? Because I didn't cry when I said it? Did I need to use like I feel like I explained everything pretty
Your tone
succinctly.
Is very
Like
cold. The way
no,
you
it's-
say
wait.
yeah,
things.
he just asked me to describe your perspective. I described it. What
Wait,
do I need to?
But it was without empathy.
Wait.
How is
Okay,
it without
let me-
empathy? What did I miss?
Destiny.
Yeah, Drew.
Destiny.
What's up?
Okay. By the way,
Yeah.
I appreciate you trying to go through the motions here, but I think that there are real reasons that it's not landing for her. I don't think it's about like you not crying. Okay.
No.
It just sounds to me, the vibe that I'm getting when you're saying that is that, I'm sorry, 1 second. It sounds like you're saying it in such a way that you can describe it as a sort of intellectual matter, right?
Yeah.
But it's not really, you're not really like, you think it's bullshit while you're saying it.
Of course, I've intellectualized it. I don't agree with it. I must. Of course. Yeah.
But that's not empathy.
Empathy doesn't mean that I agree with your perspective or your
But
position.
you're supposed to feel like what the other person. Empathy is feeling what the other person feels, and like you don't feel my pain. Like you're like that's what I mean. Like you're
I don't have to feel your pain to accurately describe
This is
why you're
also the
upset.
problem with
right, but that's not
psychology.
empathy.
Okay, I don't know what.
Oh
okay,
my
I'm sorry.
God,
Yeah,
feel
go ahead.
my
I don't know.
pain.
What do you think, Drew? How should I have described it differently? I'm curious. Can you give me some pointers?
I think, yeah. So, I think that, yeah, I'm sorry. 1 second. Chat's being kind of weird. I shouldn't read chat.
All of this
read
because
chat.
of Kumi.
It actually, to be honest, it doesn't even bother me because it's just a bunch of stupid memes. It's just like part of my concern is just like I feel like you can accurately describe her like the way she would put it, like so you could like accurately describe the statement I
Father
gave
of
you.
lies, come in
It doesn't seem like
disguise. Your
it's not
come
landing
won't
for me that
last. There's a snake in my ass.
because I
The
disagree
Come Father
descriptively with
secret stash. Come stomp me flat. I'm going to fuck
I
your
do. I mean, like, I can try it again, and I can use different
No,
inflections, I
empathy.
guess, to make. But like, obviously, I disagree with what's happened. But I think it's important that I understand her position. I understand it. Like, if everything that she believes is true, if she's actually, I don't want to say delusional,
do you
but if she
remember-
actually believes
remember-
that all the things that have happened, then I understand why she feels. But we have fundamental disagreements over things that have actually happened. Well, I don't understand why I'm supposed to if I view her as my abuser in this circumstance, I don't know why I have to empathize with her point of view. As long as I understand it and I feel like I have good disagreements with it, then I feel like that's sufficient for me. I don't feel like I need to empathize with her point of view.
Okay, so I think that that's going to be like a bedrock disagreement between y'all.
The
honestly.
descriptive reality thing?
No. The fact that you don't think that you need to be empathetic to her position to go through this situation. I think that would be like a necessary component of the situation to resolve this in the way that she would want it to be resolved. Is that fair?
When you say, well, I'm curious. When you say be empathetic towards her position, what do you mean by that?
I mean, like, so what I mean is like, so like, say like I do some action that I felt like I had to do, but it really, really upset my partner. Okay. And I'm not saying that's what's going on here. I'm just saying like with my
Yeah, I understand. You just as an example. Yeah.
I would say something along the lines of like, you know, I don't regret doing the action, but I do regret that you were hurt as a consequence. Like my intention was not to do that. I'm sorry that like you were hurt this way or that I did these things to hurt you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That is the type of statement that I'm talking about. I'm not asking you to say, first of all, I'm not asking you to say anything you don't mean because that's not productive, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I can say that, but that literally feels like one of those, like, oh, well, I'm sorry you felt that way. Like, that almost feels condescending in and of itself, right? Like, if you do something to hurt somebody and you're not apologetic, you're like, oh, well, sorry if that
No,
hurt
but
you.
like people can genuinely be sorry for like causing another person to feel like hurt, you know?
Yeah, I'm not
It's
sorry
not-
for any of my actions, though. I guess I'm sorry if you're
So,
hurt. but...
so you're not sorry for doing what you did because you thought that was the best course of action at the time, right? I understand that. But like I said earlier, you said that you would have done something different if you could do it without hurting her. So it sounds like at some level, your goal is not to hurt her here, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course not. No, my goal was to hurt her.
Okay,
before
yeah.
different things happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it just seems like all she really want, and you can be clear about what you want. It sounds like what she wants is just basically like any sort of indication that you're not trying to hurt her. It's just that's the consequences of the situation.
I understand your perspective there. I disagree. I feel like, and I could be wrong, I acknowledge this, because this is a heavy induction, okay? I could be totally wrong here. But it feels to me like she views empathy as being some sort of validation for her position. That's what it feels like she's doing. That she wants me to empathize with some position she has because she feels like it validates that position to some extent.
Can you please stop just like can you please just stop like putting these like weird like intentions onto me and just can you just like believe? me
Oh my
to
God.
trust what I say, because it's impossible. Like, this is impossible
Yeah,
to
so
speak to someone
after
who,
everything
like,
that's happened,
everything I
yeah.
say
So
gets
after everything that's
twisted
happened,
into...
after everything that's happened thus far, I have to inductively reason your intentions because I don't feel like you're forthcoming with how you feel or what your intentions are
Well,
about Mustang.
so,
That's how I
Why?
feel.
so to be clear,
I
there's
told you
just
this is gonna
no
happen.
way to have a conversation if you can't listen to the words of the other person. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand that if
I told you this
okay, I
exact thing
understand what
was
you're
gonna
doing,
happen.
but the problem is like you're coming at this with a both sides are equally valid when
He's
people
just
are
gonna
having
dismiss you because
I'm
he's gonna
not. I'm saying you both have your
mind read
your
it
each
because
your
he
own
says
perspectives.
you can't
Sure.
really
Well,
trust him.
it feels to
Yeah.
me like there are fundamental descriptive disagreements that if we can't get past that, like I can't just if I feel like if me and her feel like she's done things that neither of us agree on, how can I empathize with her position or come to a resolution of that? Like I don't see how that's possible.
Well, it seems
How
like to
can
me
you
that,
have...
what were you saying, Anna? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Steven, wait a minute. Like, how do you keep friends or anything if you can't, like, you
doesn't.
know, if you can't just agree with a conflict and then, like,
He doesn't keep
show
friends.
empathy
He
for, like,
burns
So
every
I
bridge
have had
he
a
disagrees.
high level of encounter with people that have a wide range of problems, and you are easily the most deluded person that I've ever had an interaction with in terms of understanding things that have actually happened. And I think that from my level of experience, that is surprising to me, and that is a statement with a lot of gravity. So I do not
No,
have
that's
friends,
a
and I do
statement
not
with
meet
zero
with people
gravity. He
that
said-
typically have
he
this
said
level of cognitive distortion about
strong
events that have
shit
happened.
like that
So I
about
like
it's
I
odd
don't know how
because
to.
everyone.
I say
disagree
it's
with.
odd because
It's
I say the same
basically-
thing about you.
Okay.
Okay, it's not okay. It's not relevant.
Oh wait,
Not
I'm sorry.
going there.
I meant to say I feel like she's the most deluded person. Okay.
Do you?
Okay, that was passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's not.
Told you
not do
to
that.
define
Okay.
passive aggression
Okay.
first.
So I realize. So we have this sectioned off for a whole other hour, don't we? Just
We
to be
can do
clear about
whatever
the
as much
timeline.
as you want to discuss.
Okay. All right. I want to.
Well, one thing just real quick that like because like again like in terms of not resolving things, I feel like we've left a couple of areas where there have been
Yeah.
really big disagreements of reality that like without resolving them, like she is totally justified in her conclusions given her premises. Like, if she truly feels like she didn't do anything to out us publicly or make any statements that were inappropriate, and then I started
you
making those statements,
kidding
then her
me?
conclusion is totally correct. That I'm being a horrible person. That's violating her boundaries. But like, obviously, I disagree with fundamentally what's happened.
so bad
But like,
at
if we
this
don't resolve
game.
these, I don't know how we ever move forward from here.
Have you ever considered that maybe I'm just stupid? Like, you know, you don't have to assign hostility. Like, maybe I'm just stupid. Have you
Yeah,
ever
but
thought
then
of that?
everything that I worried about earlier in regards to you seeing patients is doubly true then. But that is something that I consider. But that's why I mentioned earlier, maybe
Right,
like
so
some.
why don't you just go and say I'm stupid then? Like, maybe I'm just really fucking, like, dumb, you know?
Well, that,
like,
I mean,
instead
like
of being
that's
like,
a synonym
oh,
for.
she's manipulating all this shit. Like,
I haven't said you're manipulative. In fact, I said that multiple times. What I said is that it feels like you're delusional, which is a form of stupidity, I guess.
So I don't think she's delusional. I think that this type of disagreement can happen. I don't think she's technically delusional.
Okay, sure. Can I just ask you a question then? In
Yeah.
terms of her apologies, does her do you genuinely? Okay, and listen. Okay, my emotional palate is far different from the normal person. So I admit that readily. Okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I might be missing
I
something.
understand that.
Yeah. So do you feel like, because I don't, do you feel like she is genuinely remorseful for ever having said anything publicly about my son, not because of the negative fallout, but because she feels it's an inappropriate statement to make? Do you feel like she has that feeling, that
Never talk
understanding,
about
and then
my
that remorse
son
there?
whose fucking life is
Because
public
I don't
because
at
I
all.
made
I
it
totally
public
don't.
because
So maybe
all
that's
my
like a disconnect
all my life
that
is
you can
public.
talk me
Yeah,
through.
maybe.
oh,
Like,
I
no.
just don't like.
I
I
know
said
what.
that I said that I regretted saying that because it upset and hurt Steven.
Yeah.
Not that I necessarily thought that it was, like, inappropriate for me to say publicly.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah. So then.
There's going to be a disagreement there.
Oh no, wait. Well, that statement was fine then. So then she's not apologizing to me, or she's literally doing the
Yeah,
type of
I'm
apology
apologizing.
that, like, I'm sorry that hurt you, but like, yeah. So I don't care about that. We still like. Then I can still be upset at her for the statements themselves. She's not even apologizing for the statement. She's apologizing because it made me feel bad, right?
Okay, so.
Because I
yeah, okay.
care about your feelings. That matters.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Okay.
I don't see how that's funny.
Because it's the
Maybe
same
we
with
should
Hollow.
maybe we
Okay.
should maybe we should transition a little bit.
Yeah, we can
right?
transition if you want, sure. Although
Because-
I will, just
okay.
to restate, the
Bring
fundamental
Marina
disagreements
on.
that exist here, I think are going to carry forward the conversation. But we can move on if you want.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that.
Mhm.
I genuinely think that y'all have like bedrock disagreements that are going to be profoundly difficult. to
Insurmountable, yeah, I
solve.
understand.
Yeah, and I don't think that's because one person's stupid or I just think you disagree on stuff, and I don't think that what we should do is like meme about people being crazy or stupid all the time. I think that's unfair.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm sorry, I just want to be razor clear. I'm not memeing about this. I genuinely believe this. And it is something that is genuinely concerning me. I'll stop saying it because I understand it's triggering, and it's kind of a dick thing for me to say. I understand, sure. But okay, yeah, I'll stop saying that. Okay, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Shit.
Okay, so, what...
Too close to the start of the
Okay,
story.
what do we, like, moving forward past this conversation, alright? What do each of y'all want moving forward out of this situation? Is it no communication? Is it what? Like, what are we looking for
Well, Steven's gonna
in the
get
future?
what he wants,
what I
which is
don't
no
want to happen
communication
is like this has
either
been like a
way.
genuine
It's
effort
not
trying to
you're
sort this
gonna
out.
agree.
What I don't want to happen is people suggesting that we have to have the same conversation a week from now. Because frankly, if it can't get fixed today, I don't think it's going to get fixed. So, what do we need to do so that people feel like this is resolved and that we could just move on? Okay, does that involve just not talking about each other? What
Yeah, so,
has to happen?
I mean, I would say that the goal is the same resolution as last time, which is like no further communication. Like it's like we have bedrock things that haven't been resolved and seem to be impossible to resolve. So yeah, there's just no communication forward. Yeah.
I guess like I kind of was hoping that we could be like on okay terms, I guess. Like
Yeah,
peace,
so
sort of.
yeah.
I was hoping for that.
Yeah, I know that's what you were hoping for. It seems like it's going to be difficult for that to happen.
I mean, I could try and like, I could certainly try and like compromise more. Like, okay, like maybe I'm not seeing something. Like maybe I'm not seeing that. Maybe it is really bad to like say that about like whatever, like about how someone like moves away or something from their kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Like maybe it is bad to say that. Maybe it is. Maybe
can I
there's
give my
stuff that I'm not
perspective on
seeing. Yeah, sure.
Can I give my okay? So here's my thought on that. I think broadly speaking, it's okay to talk about like what effects things like distance can have or something like that. But I think that it can be unfair to talk about like group level trends at the level of the individual, because the truth is that so like this is something that we talk a lot about as people who want to be counselors or therapists. The expert about the person's situation is usually considered to be the client.
The person.
Or the person, because the truth is that we don't know enough details to make broad statements about people's individual lives. And it sounds like based on the previous conversation that that's a big no-no for Destiny. He doesn't like it when you like use broad trends that, like, so they may be like empirically valid, like we have evidence for them, but like when you're applying them to his life, not only is it invalidating of like his personal experience, because like what the fuck, like I live my life, I know that's not the case, so like it feels like there's like this like authority of psychology that can kind of be waved over his head.
But then what about when other people think that behavior is okay, that it's okay to do that? That's concerning.
So what I would say is, for example, if someone asks me, is it okay for this thing to happen? I usually, the way I like to talk about these things is, I'm not talking about anybody specific or any specific situation, but generally speaking, there's a trend that suggests that being far away from your kid is a negative association, yada, 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 citation,
Yeah,
right?
insecure attachment and all that.
Yeah. So I think that
he's
as
gonna check
people
that
who are
out
in this
later.
field, we have a unique
This is what you
responsibility
do.
to be
This is what you
hyper
do.
fucking careful
You put
about what we
ideas
say,
in his head.
and that
It's
is
not you change
increased
his
by the
mind.
fact
You
that
put
you
a
know
bunch of
Destiny
fucking keywords
in a way that
into
appears to be
his
more
brain
personally
so
than
he
the
can
average
search it
person.
later. He's gonna
So
be
it
searching
sounds
that-
like to the
that
outside viewer,
insecure
and this is
attachment
something I
shit
totally get
later.
from Destiny. I think it's fair.
Trust me,
It
he's
sounds
gonna
like
search for it.
you are privy
And
to
he's
those
gonna consider
nitty-gritty
it because
details
it's
that
gonna
may
be
indicate that this
upstream.
does apply. But even though you may be not, because like you don't know Destiny's son, you don't know his situation. So my main suggestion here is like, does that make sense about like why it feels wrong to
Put
talk about him
ideas
specifically
in his
publicly?
brain.
Because like it seems like it's important to be able to talk about the trends broadly, so that we can like kind of inform people, psychoeducation, yada yada yada. But like
That's
talking about him
why
specifically.
that's why I literally said about like that we have research that shows that like how many hours like a week
Yeah.
they're supposed to spend with their fathers, kind of
Yeah,
thing. And
so-
I tried to take it away from
Yeah.
like the personal, but
Okay,
I understand there's still like the issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way that I think that this could be aided is that an additional clarification at the beginning. I'm not talking about Destiny. I'm not talking about any specific. Makes it ultra fucking clear that you're not talking about him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Do you think that's
Yeah.
fair?
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense to you, Destiny?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, because I think, to be fair, it seems messed up that if someone who may or may not be privy to your personal life can use broad trends that really may not even apply to you because we don't know your situation or your context or your life or whatever.
Yeah, of course. It still bothers me that she does it on a personal level to me, not only publicly, but at least publicly, yeah, I would be very careful to qualify the fuck out of a lot of different statements
so
like that. Yeah,
I
of
would
course.
say, so I understand even the personal level. Does that make sense to you? Like, not even just publicly, Anna? Does it make sense
managed
the
to get the
personal stuff too? Like, talking about it
Whoa,
in private as
do
well,
anything
still
to
feel like
target
invalidating of his experience and his life and stuff like that?
Yeah.
This is where, and this is something also that we talked about earlier that kind of triggers me a little bit, is it feels like there is a lack of empathy from my side, that's it over and over and over again. But the way that she discusses my personal life by throwing an article at me and then slamming me with incredibly aggressive and hurtful statements about my personal life makes it feel like she has zero empathy for me, which is
I
something that
don't use
bothers me.
aggressive statements though.
Wait. So Anna, like, I think that I think it's important to say something more along the lines of like, yeah, I hear that, or I understand your concern, rather than talking, because to him that's going to feel like defensiveness and justification and stuff like that. You understand?
Yeah. It just feels like I can't, like I'm not allowed to. And like I even talked about this with my therapist, and she was also like, she literally read our DMs and like.
This is justification, just so you know.
We shouldn't
Whoa,
go down this route because
DMs.
the reason I'm concerned about this is because what's going to happen is he's going to perceive this as justification.
Oh,
and it's all,
right.
And and on top of that, it's going to feel like you're using the authority of your counselor to justify your act. Yeah. So does
Also,
that
real
make
quick,
sense to you,
Drew.
Anna?
Also, real quick, Drew. I want to be very clear. I don't think that I'm above reproach or criticism. Like, I think that's totally fine. My issue is just like the way that it's done.
I was so gentle though. I was so gentle.
So one of the closest people in my life, right? She's literally telling me in a conversation like, "Oh, I don't think she can even feel love." Like, just dropping a statement on that and then being like, "Oh, well, I don't think that." Like,
more context.
no,
to
there
it,
is no context. That this is what I mean when I say this is what I mean when I say yeah. So Drew, just real quick. This is what I mean when I say lack of empathy.
You're being
right?
unfair.
Wait.
You're being unfair. Please.
Okay.
We can read through that entire conversation if you want.
We don't need to.
Okay.
Okay. Look, I hear that, Destiny. I think to be like, once again, I think that definitely more clarification. So for example, in the previous conversation, this came up, and one of the things you said was, I think that don't you think it's different to phrase something as like, here are some things to consider that you may want to look at in this context to make sure you're not doing anything wrong, rather than simply presenting it as if that is what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. So saying like, oh, you know, like it could be the case of this or that, you should look out for this or that, feels way less aggressive than like, oh, well, here's 72% of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, for sure.
That's how I framed it though, Steven.
Well, it
That's
doesn't.
how I framed most of it. This is what I mean. It's impossible.
So maybe look, I think the truth is, if he's still perceiving it this way, there still has to be extra steps taken down.
Yeah, absolutely, sure, I agree. I agree. Like clearly, I'm not doing it right. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, cool. All right. So, I heard a lot of stuff just now. By the way, I think that was
the
extremely
shields were
positive. Thank
still
you
up.
both for trying to be patient with this. I realize this is like a really complicated situation.
Can we go back to the weaponizing I feel statements? Because I really don't understand that at all.
Okay.
I don't know how else to communicate.
Can I explain it in a way that may make sense to you?
Sure.
Okay.
You understand?
I think I understand what he's saying. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I understand it because I feel like I've had personal experience with my relationship, so I'm going to take it away from y'all for a second and talk about me, so it's not as heated. So
Okay.
one of the things that me and my partner have talked about is that when we're having an argument, sometimes it feels like her feelings are phrased as accusations, and it makes it hard for me to validate her feelings when I feel like I have to validate the fact that I'm a terrible person along with the feelings she's talking about.
Okay.
And the way that we worked on that is to just
real pizza guy. Real. And I've got this new business idea where we're going to undercut the competition.
Give me some
We're
lateral,
gonna follow that
or give
pizza
me a
guy
little
to
bit
his
extra
next
room to
delivery.
actually use
We're gonna try
validation by
and
trying to
undercut the
phrase things in a
competition.
less accusatory way. So I don't have to like in order to validate her emotions, it's so important.
Stay back, Simon and Simon style.
I don't feel like I have to accept responsibility for something that's unfair. Does that make sense?
Pull in, right, pull in.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
like
because-
not using the term like victim blaming, basically.
Yeah, because it's really morally loaded. So because
order the pizza?
I think I'm more.
What toppings did you guys
more
want on your
succinct way to
pizza?
put it would be like I feel like
Extra cheese,
when
okay?
we're talking about this, it seems
Here we go.
like
This is here.
happening
No, we're from Undercutters.
Yeah, I'm
No,
sort
how
of
much
being
is it?
blamed for
How
the
much is yours?
situation.
Get the hell away
Yeah.
No,
Then you get it cheaper from me, though.
Fair. And then you can see something like that. It's like, oh, well, that's not my intention. Like, I'm
This is a
actually
new
trying to get
business.
this point across, rather than morally loaded. Because like victim blaming is associated with some bad
Okay,
stuff.
but this is a new
okay?
business. It's called
And
Under.
for him to like have to use
Really?
Hey,
I guess I never
Victim-
no,
well,
don't.
you understand.
range from.
This is in the broader context. I don't know, like, so you have more specialization in trauma than I do, and stuff like that. In the public discourse, victim blaming is almost exclusively talked about in the context of like rape. So it's extremely morally loaded.
Okay.
So I think it makes it easier for validation to happen when things are phrased in such a way where they don't have to feel like they're being accused, and you don't trigger that defensiveness that may come from it. Yeah. Does that make sense? How you could view a situation like that where it's like weaponized feelings, even though you're expressing feelings in order to validate those things. It seems like really hard to actually follow through with that. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, I just also feel like nothing I say is like considered genuine. Like it's just weird to me because like I literally never think in a way of like, oh, I'm gonna say this to get a reaction from this person. I never think that way. That is so foreign to me. Like I don't know what kind of people do that stuff, but I don't want to be around people like that for sure. Like that is horrible to me. Like, and it's just weird that Steven would even think that I could be capable like of that. Like I don't know. That's just so like that's manipulation, right? Like that's manipulative behavior. When you're doing something, just no, I'm not accusing anyone. This is like in a like a general broad like that's like what that is. That behavior is like okay. You see what I'm saying? Like and like
so
then when he thinks that I'm doing that, you know, that's